Go.
Hello and welcome to the D20 Multiverse with myself, Oliver, Dungeon Master, beaming at you with Black Winter Nights, Episode 2. Well, I'm hip, I'm cool, I'm down with the kids. I know what the kids are saying these days. Lovely to have you guys with us tonight here in little old New Zealand. We are broadcasting live from the Chaos Nebula, aka Wellington. We've got some lovely people here tonight, and I'll introduce you to them now. On my right, we have Gorstag, the Paladin, or Cleric. Dain, the Paladin.
Stole my job.
Arkyan,
The Sorcerer.
We have Fate, the Tiefling Rogue. Shiver, the Druid. And Unknown, our returning guest player, who you may have seen from such things as TED Talks and his show The Man. He's here, lovely, playing with us tonight. I'd like to give a very special shout out to Not Klaatu, our new follower who followed today. Thank you, new Not Klaatu. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's beautiful and wonderful. Thank you. I've got your name on the thing there, and it makes me happy. So, you guys, yeah, we've got all ready to go, and we're about to start, so we'll do that in a sec. I just want to plug the channel, D20 Multiverse on YouTube, if you want to watch me and producer Dave, who is currently behind the scenes making things happen. We do NPCs of Taldore and Dragon Tavern, a whole bunch of shows on our YouTube channel about Critical Role and D&D in general. Remember, if you enjoy what we're doing, to subscribe, because that makes us happy. Does anyone have any announcements they'd like to make while we're on this wonderful thing? No! Okay! Alright, well, if you guys are ready, let's get into tonight's episode of the Black Winter Nights. Episode 2, coming at you. So, the party finds themselves split. Not just in number, but through time. As Shiver the Druid has been pulled back to your guys' original time, 100 years after the Iron War. And the rest of the party find themselves 100 years in the past during the Iron War. Shiver had been taken back through the use of a very dark spell that the leader of the Unending Moon, Ark, had cast. Upon Shiver's inquisition, he had found out that this spell required an innocent sacrifice to work, and that the leader, Ark, had murdered an innocent to be able to undo the magic that had taken him through time. Shiver essentially went on a mission with Ark and the remaining members of the Unending Moon, most of whom were slain in a battle with the 8th Circle. And they are currently trying to gather the regents required to bring the rest of the party back through time to their home. To their home! But that means not only do they need a whole bunch of demon hearts, but they also need an innocent heart for each of the players they want to bring back. So that's Shiver's conundrum. The rest of the party found themselves deep in the woods. Yes, in Black Winter Woods. They had found Lord Asa in his castle, and through their actions had changed the timeline to which Lord Asa was slain by the Weretigers they'd met, and specifically their leader, Molnir. However, upon this event, time became... there was a paradox where if they slay Asa, they never get to the point where they go back in time, and reality had torn itself into shreds, and they found themselves once again standing in front of Asa unhurt. Through some very cunning action, they gave him some sleep leaf and told him, in fact, that it was a powerful herb that would let him see through time, and he fell asleep in his chair, to which a whole bunch of guards died, and you guys managed to sneak out with the Red Claws and Molnir, the Weretigers, and had found your way back into Black Winter Woods, where you'd run into Molnir after he left you, battle-worn and covered in blood, and he warned you that Asa's on his tail, and then he vanished, and then you saw him again, completely fine, sitting around a campfire with his men, and he had no recollection of what had happened when he talked to you. And then Gadzook, who will be joining us shortly, had found a body in the woods, and upon closer inspection, he found himself looking at his own body with his neck gashed, dead and bloodied. And that's where the game begins tonight. We will start with Shiver, who, when we left you off last time, you were right outside the gates of Blackwinter Castle with Throm and Ashback, the Dwarven King, fighting Lord Nyeth and an army of his in Bearthorn, correct? So, where we left you, Thromin was currently surrounded by Nyeth's men. Most of Thromin's men had fallen in battle to Nyeth's, let's just say, uncaring, cruel manner of battle. That's where the scene begins. You're outside the gates. You've seen Thromin. Remember, a dwarf now swarmed by Nyeth's men. Nyeth, sickly smiling, stands behind the fray, watching intently. You are in bear form. What do? You can hear...
I want to barge through there.
Yeah.
Try and slam as many as I can out of the way in bear form.
Okay.
How many are in the way and, like... Is it still a clear line, or is he actually just being surrounded?
He's swarmed. Most of... Because Throman is a badass. He runs into battle. Head on. So he was right at the front line. A lot of his men have fallen, and as that happened, Nyath's men crept around and are now encircling Throman. You can see his greatsword, which he's, two-handed weapon. He's wielding this with one hand. Again, he's a badass. But he's being closed in on. So, if you're going to bear form and attack this stuff, I need straight strength from you. Whew.
Oh, change that bear form. Thank you. 10.
Okay. Your heavy paws beat on the ground in a rhythmic kind of trance-like sound as you come and approach. Nyath's men lock their arms behind you as you attack, take the full brunt, and go back to attacking. You can now see Throman scared. First time you've ever seen that look on his face. Dagger in one hand, greatsword in the other. Attacking, but they're closing in. Nyath is smiling. He takes a step forward. What do you do?
Is there any men coming in to back up?
So on the wall, you've got a bunch of his archers. Mm-hmm. At this point, yes, more men that have been preparing, hearing the sounds of battle and putting on their armor, trying to get there as quickly as they possibly can.
All right. So who else is actually out here? It's me, Throman.
Another 4 or 5 men that stand tall, as commanders essentially. I'm
going to keep trying to knock the opponents out of the way so that Throman can get back into the castle to safety. Okay. 14.
Nice. Okay, this time you come up and just start batting these men with your paws. And their strength is not enough to withstand this. A lot of them scatter. Throman, however, seeing your intention, shakes his head. He's going down swinging. He continues fighting in this horde. He's going to take some just straight out attacks. Oh yeah. Throman cuts down at least 5 other of Nyath's men. They fall to the ground, bloody, broken bones and pools emanating from them. Throman seems to be winning at this point. Would you like to assist?
Carrying on. I'm supporting him. I'm trying to keep the way clear so that he's got an escape route and he's not overwhelmed.
Okay. At this point, the rest of Throman's men make it to the gate. You can see them hastily pulling on armour. They've got weapons. You can see some of them, they're not holding comfortably. They're just weapons they've just grabbed, not necessarily their own. The archers are still loosing arrows at a ready pace. Nyath looks concerned as the last of Nyath's men fall. And the last hits the ground. Throman raises his greatsword and blood trickles. He points it straight at Nyath and takes off in a run straight for him. Rings, swings the sword back from behind his head.
I can start running with him.
Nice, cool. Athletics. Still in bear form?
Still in bear form. 14 again.
Okay, you manage to keep right on Throman's heels as he swings the killing blow. And he does. The sword comes at great speed, catches Nyath right on the neck, passes through. Nyath's form fades. He vanishes into smoke. Throman looks confused, turns to you, turns back. As you see now, behind the gates within Blackwinter Castle, Nyath stands smiling, and his men close the doors, lock themselves within Blacksteel.
What, so he just teleported? What just happened there? You killed him?
Roll perception. Or insight, even.
Fucking Nyath, man.
My eyes are closed, and it's night, and I am blindfolded.
Okay, confused. You're not sure what happened, but Nyath has vanished there, appeared within the castle, has now barred the gates. You see the archers on top of the wall, confused, and they spin, but not fast enough. Arrows sink, and 2 bodies fall from the wall. Throman is pounding on the gates, but they're fully in lockdown mode. Right, rest of the party. You find yourselves deep within Blackwinter Forest. You have now seen Zook standing over the body of himself. The forest is dark. The sounds of night are ringing around you. The occasional bird call, scurrying of animals, crickets and whatnot. You guys are right in the centre. It's pitch black. What do you do?
So me and Gore have come up to see him as well?
Yeah, you've all gathered now.
Okay, cool.
Around the body of Zook. And Zook is looking down at the body of Zook.
Has anyone looted him yet?
He looted himself.
he,
himself.
he has looted himself.
That's how ownership works.
People piss
That-
themselves in battle. He loots himself.
I say Gadzooks.
Advantage on your next roll.
Yes!
So, basically, the body's been here for a while, and weapons and anything large has been taken. Everything that he had concealed well enough, he now has two of. But he managed to loot it before any of you greedy fucks got this.
We just chased away some undead things. Is this like the same thing? Anybody know stuff about this? The Cleric, you know.
Roll medicine,
Yeah.
perhaps?
Yeah,
Yeah,
roll some
that's a good idea. I will do it. That is what's my medicine? It's a 10.
Cool. Gorstag stands over the body, and Zook, who's just white as a ghost, kind of in shock, takes a step back and lets you examine the body. Its throat has been cut deep, seemingly not arcane. Seemingly this is done by just a blade.
That was the only wound?
Yeah. It looks like I mean, it looks like it's been roughed up a bit. His cloak and stuff is not in, by any means well, in good keep.
Does it look like his throat was slit as a surprise, or does it look like he was actually in combat at the time and...
That would be insight, I believe.
Defensive wounds and such.
Mm.
Or like did someone just come up behind him?
Party doing some CSI shit.
16.
Cool. This looks like it was from the front in battle, just killing low.
Cool.
That struck well.
So, like, I have a question. We have Gadzook here, and then we have Gadzook here, and is this Alan?
I can confirm that it is, because he cut himself
Okay.
for me, and
Intentionally.
the
He intentionally
doppelganger-
wounded himself so that you'd be able to identify him.
Yeah, he's got an identifying scar.
Right. Okay. Cool. As long as we're confident in that fact.
Is that something we should perhaps all do at this point?
Yeah.
Just like
I think-
some kind of identifying feature
Yeah.
in case more doppelganger show up?
Does his body have the scar as well?
No, the body
But-
does
but
not,
it does, doesn't
does
it?
not
And
have
all
scar
of
on
his
it.
stuff, objects. so-
Yeah, which is odd, but I think that all of us making a mark on ourselves is probably a good idea.
At risk of seeming too eager to self-harm, I should make a mark on myself for each one of you so that the others don't know about our, passcode.
Oh
essentially.
right. As in case we're swapped, then we can't collude with someone else who's swapped. Just you.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah.
Seems like you've time travelled before.
Wait, so you're disarming yourself a bunch of times?
Yeah,
Okay,
different time for each of you. So you each know a secret.
This is self-harming Doctor Who. That's
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Okay, Dane goes about marking himself
So much for
briefly with...
markers.
You do realise you guys probably have like charcoal or pens or something, but no, he decides to...
No, this is how I'm doing it.
Sorry.
It's Paladin. We're brutal.
Do you cauterize the wounds at all? Do you heat the blade at all? We just gonna start cutting.
Well, I can, while I'm here, I can take a few more vials of my blood. Just
Sure, yeah.
that's some efficiency for you.
Okay, roll... Jesus.
Constitution.
Yeah, straight constitution.
Sure.
Yeah. The will to be able to do this to yourself.
Yep, that's all right. I got a 18.
Okay, you managed to extract a few more vials of your blood, which seemingly do have some powers against demonic possession, as you've just discovered over the course of your adventures. Not quite sure why. I know why.
All right, how many? Because I can dole them out to the rest of the party then. Because I always have my blood, but they don't necessarily.
Yeah, they have your blood less frequently than you do. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
More often you'd expect, but less frequently.
Okay. If you've
I'll
ever
take 10 since I'm probably not going to see you in a little while. Yeah.
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 He's
Practical,
gonna
right?
die if you take him.
well, I mean,
Can I just get like a
down.
couple of pints to last me a little while?
We just inserted drip, just a constant thing.
You're gonna buy me a couple of pints, and I'll bleed out a couple of pints.
so basically, Dain donates blood in D&D sense, which is wonderful because always promote donating blood.
Yeah.
It's very
Contact my local Recross today.
You can see it's
That's
a
clear.
dwarven blood.
So,
There's not enough of it.
After a certain time, your hands are smattered with your own blood. Your blade is too, but you have a few vials and you have identifying marks of the party. So,
And a little lightheadedness.
Dang.
Come on,
So,
Mark, be a smiley face.
Can't not be.
you encountered this thing. Did you see it alive or was it dead when you found it?
We found it dead.
Okay, I just stab it down the middle just to see what's inside.
Wait, so smiley?
Full on vivisection, or not that because that's when it's alive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dissection.
okay.
dissection. Is it like
Autopsy?
is it people or is it like?
I'm just going to take Gadzook a little bit away.
Yeah. The next sight of this.
I don't think you should see this. Like,
His eyes
Vivisection
widen
is a very
as he feels
painful dissection, isn't it?
He feels Gorstag's hand on each of his shoulders. He's kind of turned away in shock as Fate, in classic Fate style,
Laughing as I do.
just okay. Inside you find a bunch of organs and blood, intestines.
Hey guys, I was alive. It wasn't a thing.
You're not allowed to compare them with the original. Yeah.
So you now have a body that's been cut open, standing in the forest. Dain is swaying a little bit from lack of blood, and you have Dain's blood.
This episode started real dark.
Yeah, we got dark.
Anybody else hungry?
I put out a pack of rations.
Go guy biscuit and a cup of tea.
I'm out of ideas for this thing, and I kind of just don't like this forest or these druids. I want to keep on going what we were doing with
Yeah.
Dain and
Yeah.
going his
I think
place.
that's a good idea. I mean, I think
this
this
is
is more
freaking
likely
out.
to be time travel shenanigans that we don't understand as yet. So I think I'd best just continue moving on.
Has anyone had a look to see if there's any tracks leading to or from this area?
Not
Seeing
what I
as
recall.
like he just got his throat cut.
Yeah, that's
Roll,
good.
roll
Yeah.
survival.
Is
That's
that-
not good. You can also roll survival.
Yeah.
Everyone that wants to roll survival.
That's like a 7.
Yeah, no, that's not great. That's not 5.
That is a 14.
Okay. Yes, there are marks of a scuffle as you kind of search the area. You can see bits of dirt that have been kicked up and the marks on the ground, like claw marks.
Claw marks.
Yeah, claw marks. So
They look like
What kind of
like
claw marks?
griffin claws or like dragon
Tigers?
claws.
griffin claws.
Griffin claws, right?
Yeah.
Griffin claws specifically, or just that size-ish?
About that size, yeah. So you've seen some shit went down here, and there was some kind of struggle or something for sure.
Are there any tracks leading away?
Mm. No, sorry, I was drinking tea. I couldn't verbalise. No, seemingly this took place, and then around it there was not much else.
And we're still in the forest, right?
You are.
Should we maybe take the body with us?
It's now like open and
You're the one carrying that. But,
Well, it's strange. It looks exactly like him. Like, is it something we just want to leave lying here?
You realise that it just be everywhere? Yes.
Well,
yes,
now that
you
we know that
probably
it's
do.
people and it's not like a construct or something.
Alright, I'll bury it then.
Oh.
okay. Dan goes about burying the body.
for all we know, it could be his past form. And
That's
it just
terrifying.
messed up the paradox again, and we're just going to be here again in 10 hours when the time shifts back again.
As long as you guys come with it. Yeah, sweet.
If I look up, does it look like any of the branches or the foliage has been interrupted by like something swooping down or flying down?
You do notice the familiar to yourself marks of griffin claws on top of the trees.
Cool.
So you know what that means.
How can
Yeah,
you,
so
can you tell me how
griffins swooped down and probably attacked him while he was here, or he swooped down on the griffins and got into a fight with his griffin or whoever else was with him.
Can you tell how many griffins came down?
2 or 3.
2 or 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's definitely no tracks leading to or from this area.
Roll some more. Oh, what did you get? Yeah.
I got a 14. So
Okay. So upon discovering the griffin marks on the trees, you again go about checking out the ground. There are tracks that look like Gadzooks, about gnomish size, that go for a while and then just stop.
Just by himself then?
leading away or towards this area?
So it looks like it's hard to tell with a 14.
Yeah.
They basically lead a couple of meters away, maybe 10, 20 feet,
Yeah.
and then there's no tracks at all.
Who knows some detect magic?
Gadzook.
Yeah. Back to Shiver. You're currently standing beside a frantic Thromin who's smacking his the hilts of his sword and dagger on the walls of Black Winter.
Alright. Shapeshift back into a gnome. Tell Thromin, I'm going to shapeshift into a spider, you jump on me. So shapeshift into a giant spider and wait for him to get on.
He looks at you. God, you're brilliant. Jumps on your back.
And I start climbing up.
Cool. Make an acrobatics.
Can you look up? There we go, that's what I want. 13.
Cool. You make it up with little to no hassle. Thromin, slightly terrified, clings to you as you scurry up the side of this wall. You manage to get right to the top. You can now see into Blackwind Castle.
Mm-hmm.
You can see Thromin's men had most of the guards had come to the battle, and most of them have been slain. Within the walls, you see a ton of Nyath's men taking over piece by piece. They do not see you climb as your stealthiness kind of slunk like an embodiment of a shadow over this wall. But you can see Nyath now looking quite pleased with himself. Those familiar metal horns and just the bottom plate part of his head armour has been unhinged and is kind of swinging. You can see his smile beneath there. He's now motioning for some of his men to take their place on the top of the wall, and his archers are going to replace Thromon's.
I look up at Thromin,
Who's
and
just
in all my
furious.
spiderly expressiveness, trying to get across. Yeah, we're going now. This place is kind of fucked.
You can see Thromin wants to just jump from this wall, sword down, and just start hacking away at these things. You can see that's his natural reaction. You do see him, however, stop for a second, process, and realise with now the hundreds of people that are under Knight's command, who seemingly have taken, like the army Knight had with him when he stormed the gates, you now realise was entirely just a distraction, because you now see Knight's full army taking over this castle. Again, Thromin realises there's no winning this battle alone, and he kind of nods and sheaths his sword with disgust.
I travel down and out.
Okay.
Head out towards the most near spot of safety, which I presume would be the woods.
Yep.
Looking all the way for anyone else who's escaping from the castle.
Cool.
And carry on. Do I know where the pits are?
The fighting pits.
The fighting pits. Did we ever find that out?
No, the man that Thromin had sent away to investigate had not come back when the attack on Black Winter began.
Right. Okay. So at this point, all I can see is getting away.
That's good.
That's
Right. Head off into Blackwind Forest.
Cool.
When we get there, I shapeshift back to Gnome and discuss how to
Make a dex save as you do that.
22.
And some stealth.
That's good.
Natural 20.
Nice. As you scurry with great speed, you do notice behind you there's a couple of Knight's men are now on the wall, and you can see them searching, just looking to take down any stragglers or anyone else. However, you yourself vanish into the forest, completely unseen, undetected. Thromin as well. Thromin gets into the protection of the forest far enough that he knows he's not being seen, falls to his knees, and just hammers his fist on the ground, and you actually see like a huge burst of dust, and what you imagine must really have hurt as he slams his hand down. Well, there goes the castle. Once more. Fuck.
Shapeshift back into Gnome. Right, so, should we get the giants this time?
Sounds good to me.
Alright.
However, I need a promise. I am going to be the one to take that head with his grin and those horns mounted on my wall above a plaque that says Lord Sissy Pants. I haven't quite decided on the name.
Do you know when your messenger is arriving back?
No. When did we send him out? Soon, I think.
Do you know which direction he would be coming from? It would be good to intercept him before he gets to Blackwinter.
Yes. We have no men. Mine fell. Fear for the rest of them. Within the walls, there's no telling what Knife could do. Death may be worse.
Nath is just going to keep on spreading.
Yes.
We need to rally. We need to have a combined force against them.
Yes. Your friends. We need them.
You don't have... You don't happen to have any orphanages around, do you?
It's...
With terminally ill children.
This is your compassionate requirement. Any children's hospitals around?
It's not uncommon for orphans to find refuge within the walls of Blackwinter. Why do you ask?
Right, so we need to take Blackwinter again.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, Zoo!
Hey, how you going?
Please, take a seat.
I'm so lucky you only just arrived.
Yeah, you...
I heard something that's about orphans. I'm kind of worried what we've done. It's been a dark
nothing
game.
yet.
That's one of the lighter things that's happened so far.
Oh, joy.
Why would you ask such a thing?
No. That's a worry for a later date. Right. We're gonna have to. Okay. Who do we actually have currently? There is you and me and anyone else at all.
At this point, you notice a man step forward from the forest. A man you've seen before. A man that you know can't say hello, but is standing up there.
And you just happen to be right here, right now.
He,
Common, what is going on?
well, the wily one seemingly has his ear to the ground. How did you escape?
We've infiltrated the castle before, and we'd already assessed an escape plan. We might be able to use it again.
Useful. So, that number's 3. I assume you'll fight?
I'll certainly track and infiltrate. I'm good from a distance. Perhaps I could cover the escape.
So,
Alright.
100 years back from the Iron War stands the man that you had once met all those years ago in Lord Arce's castle. The man who had his tongue ripped from his mouth by King Hyle now stands seemingly with his tongue unharmed for the most part.
100 years later.
Yeah.
100 years later.
So this is. I just finally realised this is the time shift. We are in a different conflict. I was trying to get my head around it.
Don't worry, I've forgotten the stories.
No, I'm telling you. There's 3 different time frames.
I can remember a thing.
Okay, so I'm in present time now.
Yes.
Yeah. And
My
now
tongue
able
is
to
back.
talk.
Correct.
Okay.
Hey, how did time come back?
You yourself have not had your tongue cut out yet. You don't know what these people are talking about.
Wow. So the entire timeline has not happened.
Correct.
This is 100 years into the future, into the past. Isn't it?
Into the future.
No, so you're in the actual time where these guys all began.
Right.
They met you 100 years when the guys were thrown
So the
back.
war's effectively been erased due to their actions, hasn't it?
No. This is you have no idea what these guys are talking about when they say they've met you before. You simply tracked.
Okay.
You've been tracking Nyath.
Yeah.
You tracked him to Blackwinter.
Yeah.
You saw these guys seemingly escape after watching the battle.
Yeah.
And that's where you find yourself now.
Okay.
They-
So the chances are I tracked them after the point that they escaped.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when Thron mentions your tongue,
Yeah.
you don't know what that means.
Okay. I don't know
You mentioned
what tongue.
That one?
My speech is fine.
You poor bastard. You're gonna be.
I suddenly go. You speak like you know my future. Is there something you want to share with me, Gnome?
I've met you in the past.
I'm glad I made an impression.
You certainly did, without even saying a word. And you have a issue in front of you. I got nothing else. I'm sorry.
I know
Kind of
this-
dumbfounded. I just sit there going,
Oh,
God.
I know this is tough for you to understand. I myself don't pretend to understand it either.
Okay.
But I do trust this man implicitly. Without him and his friends, my castle would have been taken by a man Moonskull.
What kind of magic are you wielding, Gnome, that you can tell me my future?
It is not I who wield this magic. I am merely the victim of it. I'm trying to recreate a spell to bring the others back. We were sent back through time. We found ourselves in the middle of the Iron War. We found ourselves in a small village with the 2 armies coming in. And proceed to tell them the story of what I experienced and how I actually met him in the first place.
So you hear this story of working for King Hyle, who you know from the stories of the Iron War. Surprised that you were part of it, and certainly concerned that seemingly in the timeline that he's from, your tongue gets quite brutally cut out by Hyle after your party infiltrating Lord Arce's castle gets captured, tortures, and gives up information. King Hyle essentially cut out your tongue to stop you from talking to make an example.
My character has no recollection of this.
You've never experienced this. It seemingly is.
Has there been any change in my age at all?
Yeah. You're
So
younger.
I'm markedly older.
Younger.
Oh, younger.
Yes.
I'm younger.
Yes. From
I'm meeting you
Elaine's
before
Falls.
it's lost to yes.
I haven't spoken to her too much recently. The toll of the recent visions has taken quite an effect. But Signia, my seer, has theories on this. Each as unlikely as the last, but recently, in our time, there's been a great disturbance in the powers of the arcane. The city of Temples, considered to be the stronghold of information, has been burnt to the ground. So many arcane lives were lost that the veils between this world and the arcane lines have been strengthened. I also heard tales of the events that brought these ones back through time. Something like that, she says, creates a crack. One that cannot be mended.
An entire life seems to have been taken from me. None of these events that you speak of, Gnome, has occurred. Why am I supposed to trust this? What evidence do you hold of this time that you've been in? You speak of such darkness and events that are yet to happen to me, and yet it seems like your meddling either created them or saved me from them. I'm not sure.
I only speak what I have experienced. I only say what I have seen with my own eyes. It might be a future, it might be a past. At this point, who knows? This is time.
All
This is
I
why
know,
we don't meddle with it.
all I know is that Alicia is once more in danger.
Your seer, are they available? Were they within Blackwinter Castle?
Within the castle. However, within my castle, within my spires, if she has any sense, she'll find herself into one of the strongholds and lock herself there.
DM, is there any change to my abilities as due to being younger or less experienced?
Yeah, so your ranging skills and attack and stuff is not quite as well honed.
Okay.
Yes. So
Do you want me to drop my hit points or?
your hit points are fine.
Yeah.
But your dexterity is going to suffer a little bit.
Okay.
Just by 1 point. Back to you guys in the forest. Blackwinter, 100 years, yes, into the past.
So confused.
I want to keep venturing into my claim.
Okay.
Seeing as Gadzook is now feeling a bit more present
Hi, Gadzook.
after
We will just let you know. The party in the forest started over your body, the one that you'd found with the gash in the throat.
Nice.
Yes. Fate had decided.
I want to see if you're real or not.
So
I
Significantly more gas.
Yeah.
Kind of cut the body open.
Yeah.
we had a field autopsy.
It was real. It was a person.
It
Wow.
was- yeah.
Well, no, I appreciate scientific methods. That's fine. Yeah.
Yes. So that's where you guys find yourself.
Alright.
What do you guys do?
It seems several griffins have swooped down to this area, where we're not sure if you walked into this area or flew down on the griffins as well. And then the griffins flew off again. There was a bit of struggle in this place, where you seem to have lost your life, if it is even you. However, there are some footsteps seeming leading away from this little area, which then just vanish. So do you know of any things that you or you past you could do like that?
Vanishing is powerful magic. To leave no simple trace and to teleport is far beyond my ability.
Do you want to show Zook the tracks in the forest?
Yes, if we inspect, we can see perhaps there is a trail that we can't see with the eye.
So you lead Zook back to what you discovered, and upon getting there, you see that the grass is undisturbed. The tracks that you'd found are no longer there.
Has the body changed at all?
The body's gone.
So no blood.
No blood, no
Did-
body,
did we see
no
it
broken
disappear?
branches, no griffin marks.
Was I
The
finished
forest.
burying it?
Well, you yourself make a straight intelligence check.
10.
Had been in the process, and then you remember your hand going through the grass as if it was water. You remember looking, you remember turning around, you remember hearing your own voice echo in your head, hello, 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 hello. Turn back, and then there was nothing there.
If this is reality that's happening, it's almost as if we're in the center of a whirlpool, if you will, and different periods of time are dropping in and out of our reality as we move past each other. This is some seriously powerful illusion.
I'm going to go for the first option, and I'm
Yeah.
wondering how tight it is and with the place that we were, like how we started. As we go further away, is it crazier or yeah?
I think at this point we've been in this timeline for so long now, and we've essentially travelled almost the length of the whole continent. Like the amount of stuff we have disturbed, there is no way of even tracing down if it was something we did or it's something that's just naturally happening.
You do, as a party, kind of start thinking over your actions and the changes that you've made already through small actions and through larger actions. Alerting the were-tigers to the fact that the druids would come into the forest, alerting the were-tigers to the fact that Arsa is, in your opinion, the greater of the two evils of the Iron War. The ramifications and all those things. You also, who was it? I think it was either Gorstag or Dain had found that gem upon the body of the demon that attacked you and started possessing you guys. There was that cultist you'd found. You start thinking back to when you'd killed Arsa through bringing the were-tigers, and the fact that you had ended up back there. And, yeah, you just kind of think of the snowball effect that any of these actions could have happened.
I'm still down for the whole getting out of here.
Yeah, I don't think there's much we can do to change any of these decks now, right? So I think we get to press on.
I did have one thought though. You were keen for a griffin. Like we know there's 3 going to appear here.
But dangerous ones.
Yeah.
Do we? Do we know if it's happening in the future? Do we know if this is something that's happened beforehand? Has it happened in our timeline? And we're just seeing like
Just
in
a thought,
our real
I thought,
timeline?
I mean, and assuming there's an equal position in the future, that means that Gadzook will be murdered.
Well, I mean, would be there, so it'd be different. Yeah.
It could be a hypothetical future
will it
again.
though?
It could just be
Yeah.
different.
We could end up by simply being there. It can make it not happen.
Yeah. Did we determine the cause of my death? What a great sentence.
Your throat was slit in combat.
Ah,
Rather horrifically.
okay.
But there was no sign of magic or poison or anything like that
Right.
that we could see.
Just seemed like straight combat.
So like a weapon, not like an animal. Okay.
Yeah.
Face-to-face combat where essentially some kind of blade slit your throat.
Hmm.
Got taken down by a griffin rider. I'm sure you fought bravely.
Before your body was
Bravely?
desecrated.
So someone mentioned the fact that this could be some form of illusion magic. Does anyone have any way to detect or perceive that?
I could detect. Yeah. If we're fine with 11 minutes of me preparing the ritual and casting that, yeah.
I'm
Sure,
down
we've
with
got
that.
10 minutes of time to
Sure, we've got
to
10
work out
minutes.
what's happened to the rest of the time.
I suggest we just like stick real close together with the night eyesight.
Yeah.
Yeah, like visual
And
range.
who knows, maybe within these 10 minutes, like some griffins will swoop down and kill you, and no one know what happened.
Okay, so Gadzook goes about preparing what spell?
Detect magic.
Detect magic, which is a 10-minute ritual cast. So you don't have any regents for that? It's just
Yeah.
cool. Okay, so Gadzook goes about his gnome tinkerish arcane kind of ways, and in the course of 10 minutes prepares the spell. The spell, once it's completed, puts you in a very familiar trance-like state. Essentially, all your senses that are not needed dull completely, and all your senses that you're using to detect the magic sharpen intensely. You can see the reflections of all the light of all the things around you, the starlight that kind of bathes the trees and such. But more than that, you can see the effect that the arcane has, and you actually almost feel like the stars are kind of raining light upon you, and soaked into those waves are the powers of the arcane. As they shimmer and kind of reflect around you, you get a sense of what's been going on magically around. Magically, there's no arcane power in this space. But as you kind of perceive this like shimmering silver light that kind of surrounds you, you feel the ground just be ripped away, and you're just floating in this shimmering, almost light beam, as if you can see the particles themselves. Looking down, you just see this horrible jutting crack, just broken through reality, and a whole bunch of arcane and celestial energies just bleeding through. They kind of scatter off into little rays, and it's like watching a tree. It's like watching a tree grow really, really quickly. These little paths just kind of scatter out. There's all this power and energy beneath you. You almost pass out from just the intensity of the amount of energy that's there, and then like a rock falling from a ledge, poof, reality like just places itself back in front of you, and poof, you're sitting in a forest once more.
I saw the wounds of time, and they are grievous, but no apparent magics at the moment.
So this is just reality going crazy.
It would appear to be so.
Is it going to matter where we go in that case?
Do we know Have we had any leads on getting back to our own time yet, from our side of things?
Not really.
None whatsoever, eh?
Alright, back to Shiver, Unknown, and Thrum and Ashback.
Can I say that Zook, I'm a simple man. My name is Fletcher.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trained as an archer by my family, and I've considered being in the service of Lord Hyle already. I've joined a group of other ranger types that have been teaching me their craft, and I've slowly been becoming more proficient with a crossbow. But this is really all I can offer you, my knowledge of the woods of this region and my archery skills. I'm not a man of magic, and nor am I a man of much mysticism or arcane. Frankly, those things, I'm learning the beginnings of those skills, but I have very basic magics. I don't know if I can help. How can I help this situation? I fear for my loved ones already.
Throman will be able to tell you more than I could at this point. At this point, everything that we need is in that castle.
Once more, I find myself on the wrong walls, the wrong side of this castle. Really, I should have made some kind of preparation.
Throman,
Hindsight's a
what
wonderful
allies do
thing.
you have that we can call on?
Well,
They're the giants up in Duskin, but I do not know if they are going to reliably be there.
most of the militant forces in this land are at least a week's travel. My transportation is all within the walls. I have men loyal to me in Duskin, but mainly priests and the like. Certainly nothing could rival the forces that now stand within my castle.
Is there some item that could help us?
I know of nothing. The only two things I know of are this ritual that my mentor knows, but the cost is larger than I really wish to pay. The only other option is from the seer, who apparently knows of a way through the walls of time.
Signia, her specialty is piercing the veils of time to bring us visions to guide the kingdoms.
Well, then it's obvious. Signia is the one that we seek. How do we find this here?
Signia is in
Within
the walls
the
of the
castles.
castle that we have just lost.
Okay.
So the only path we have at the moment, a clear path, is to retake the castle again.
Somehow.
I saw you move with shadows that I've never seen a creature of your type move before. A stealthy spider, a massive spider. You made your way back here.
Yes.
Can you do that at will?
No, I can do this a couple of times per day, but not at all. Such power is beyond me.
Such power is such magic that we would need to infiltrate the castle, though. Surely that could be a tool by which you could find Signia. Surely she's the one we need to locate.
Absolutely.
If
The
you
question
can-
would be finding her in time.
Literally. And
Literally.
figuratively.
If you can get within the walls unseen, and you can get into my spires unkilled, then you can find Signia and convince her that she should follow you.
How would I get her out again?
Well, then maybe that's where I can help.
I cannot take another person in with me. I can shift myself, but that is it.
I've got some climbing equipment I could take in. Perhaps we could assist her. Perhaps even her magic, if we found the right opportunities, might allow her to escape.
That would be very dangerous.
Well, it might be all that we have. Do you see any other options? We don't have any forces with us.
You're right. I'm no climber.
This is the only option that we have.
I can fight in close combat. I'm not good for much else.
Perhaps you could form some form of distraction which could increase our chance to get her in or out.
Mhm.
Maybe if
certainly
we
do that.
sent you some kind of symbol from the castle, lit
Mhm.
some kind of coloured smoke, I don't know, used some kind of device or even your magic to signify
Mhm.
that it was time to escape.
We can do that as well. There are also the secret entrances that would help us go part of the way.
Yes, we could certainly at least get into the inside of the walls.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that Nyath's men will be watchful, but I fear that he won't know all the passages we have available to us.
Can I just ask, is my character aware of whether the castle has a moat? Does it have a moat?
So you're actually at the moment from the east, more eastern Newcastle.
Okay.
You've
So the
only
castle's
been,
quite unknown to me.
yeah, you've only been on the west tracking Lord Nyath for a couple of weeks.
Okay. Was that fair that I saw the spider just before
Yeah.
locating his character? Yeah,
Yeah.
even though you roll a net 20 stealth, which is pretty probably the most badass stealth ever. So I'm unfamiliar with the layout of the castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right. So this is all hypothetical.
Well, Thorman can at least guide us the way. We have pen and paper with us? We can
Sure.
get you to detail, a map at the very least.
Yeah.
Duskin is at least a week away, and is the closest. Is that true?
No, Duskin is a couple of days.
We could always
Did you
send...
become a flying creature?
No, I can't do that yet. Is Twitter around?
Good question. I don't think you've had Twitter since you came
No, Twitter's
back.
come back.
Okay, then
I've
yes,
had Twitter.
You do have
The
Twitter.
question is whether or not I had Twitter because of the fact that we just fled from a fighting building, the fighting castle.
Twitter, I would imagine at this point, having spent so much time beside you, is attuned to you and would be able to find you through a forest.
Okay, so I can send message to Duskin and ask for at least aid and see if that would be possible.
What about Facebook? Is Facebook available?
What's Twitter? What's Twitter?
Twitter is his bird.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's good to far in the
Aptly
future
named.
did you guys come?
I don't have enough pets to give them all names.
Duskin is within reach. However, most of Duskin is elderly men who pray to their gods. It's no telling if the giants are willing to help or even still there.
Perhaps we could smuggle ourselves into the castle. Perhaps there's another way, rather than stealthing or even fighting our way in. Perhaps we could hide ourselves somehow in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Any further ideas on that suggestion?
Well, I could perhaps observe the castle for a bit and study maybe some of their patterns.
Mm-hmm.
They might have some kind of troop movement that we could maybe be part of. Perhaps they send out patrolling groups we could maybe infiltrate, even disguise. I'm not sure what they're doing for food. They probably consider themselves in a siege environment, so they would have locked the place down.
I imagine
probably
Nyath's
would've
vision
done
does
that
not
for
stop
much.
with Black Winter.
Mm.
I would imagine his eye is on all of Elysia. Therefore, he will have to be moving men out and within the castles.
If we want to get her out, we need to get her out now.
If
So-
they find her, they'll kill her.
Well, we should go round to the back entrance
Mhm.
that we know about. How far is that?
Not far.
We should go in there and just start sneaking through and see what we can do.
Perhaps if we located some troops, took them out, gained their armour for the purposes of infiltration, perhaps we could run some kind of disguise situation.
Mm-hmm.
Nyath cannot keep his eye on everything
Perhaps
at
they
once.
might be bringing their wounded back into the castle. Maybe we could even be infiltrate as part of the bodies. I mean, chances are there'll be soldiers that can't walk or can't carry themselves, and they might be using some form of cart. If they have some form of object that we could either infiltrate or be on, that might actually get us through the gates.
Mm. Can we see the gates from here, or at least be
Well,
able
you
to
can
observe for a
sneak a
while?
bit closer to the edge of the forest, yeah?
Should we go and observe and see what's going on first?
This is where I can help. This
Cool.
is something I'm good
Okay.
at.
Okay, so Fletch immediately goes into the stance that you recognise as being, efficient and stealthy. Kind of drops himself to the point where he's moving with the trees, and his motions are so calm that they just fit right in with the forest, and just kind of like leads the way. Thromin, however, is not quite as elegant in his movement. He's wearing chainmail, so he makes a bit of sound. You yourself, I imagine, at home in your, not just a forest, but your forest,
Mm-hmm.
make your way very stealthily, stepping over twigs and branches that you know. Eventually you get to the edge of the castle, edge of the forest, sorry, looking at the castle, and you can see Nyath's men now border the top. You see arrows and such. You see a few plumes of smoke coming as well, but not like fire smoke, white smoke, coming from within the walls. Thromin looks up and looks concerned and says, "Arcane, not a good thing." Back to you guys. So, you've decided to move on, I believe.
Yes. Where to?
That's a good question.
It seems no matter where we go, we just stir up more conflicts and trouble and death, and are essentially what seems to be harming the timeline more and more. I remember at some point our goal was to find this chaos orb, or this device that sent us back in time, which was possibly created by druids. But
In the south, yeah.
yeah, but we've enlisted, or we've spoken to 2 druidic circles at this point.
I don't trust them anymore. I don't want
Both
to be
who have been unwilling to help us,
Yeah.
and I don't trust them.
They have been under the taint of demons, and we could perhaps free them all.
You've been doing a
We
pretty good job at it
freed
so
the
far,
last druid tribe, and they kicked us out, right?
That's true.
Well, we left fairly amicably.
Oh, okay.
We shared
But
some
again, they gave us no information on how
Yeah.
they can actually help us or what this orb is.
They had information until we unpossessed them. Not that I would consult with demons.
If we did go to your hometown, your crib, what would we gain there?
Do they perhaps be those with information on demons?
Okay.
I mean, that's a group that we haven't spoken to already. We've
Yeah.
spent a lot of time asking druids and got nowhere. So maybe something a
We're-
bit more laterally.
Hmm.
I think regardless, though, we should go somewhere because I don't think we're going to find any answers in the middle of this wood.
Yeah,
No,
as long as I
that's-
need to write.
That's the thing, though. You would think the. Never mind. Weren't you specifically warned to not find yourself?
No, that was the
Oh, that
dead
was
one.
just-
Who just found himself.
Maybe that's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Do I remember what my warning was? Because I don't remember what my warning was.
Yes, your warning was not to meet yourself. The rest of the party was urged to be careful in their actions, and you were told not to seek your family.
Oh, cool. Yep.
So
Onward.
there's a thing he's digging for in the east. Honestly, that's the thing that interests me most.
That's right as well.
Oh,
and that's in
yeah.
the same direction as well, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's trying to find something. I
Yeah.
want to know what it is
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I just have this real creepy suspicion that it's the thing that's gonna, the thing
Yeah.
that's sent us back here.
Yeah.
Before we go though, God, I like you.
If it is the thing that sent us
You
back,
keep me alive. I think you that better than me.
Fate hands you a small ring.
if it's that chromatic orb, we
Yeah,
need to let him
still
dig it
alive.
up. We need to let him dig it up if it's the orb. Because he needs to send us back.
We need to be there when he digs it up.
But we know the orb is being created, or has been created within the last little while.
Yeah.
So why would it be buried?
Buried. Oh, it was all created in the last little while.
Wasn't it?
Do we know
Yeah.
that? I don't think so.
Yeah.
We do.
Well,
You guys had,
We heard the Druid circles banded together and started creating it.
I didn't realise that was so recent. I thought that was kind of more of a historical event.
no, you guys had heard that had been taking place seemingly within the same time frame as you guys.
And that was in the south past.
but we don't know if it's happened yet, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I mean,
This goes.
I mean, it seems like a big evil person looking at doing magics is doing some nefarious digging shortly around the same time this incredibly powerful artifact gets created. They could potentially be related.
And really, what else have we got to do? We can't go to your place. I don't want to go to any of the cities and screw the druids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the Druids are
Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily know if we need to take the warning as gospel, so to speak. I mean,
He was zoned of truth, wasn't he?
Not at that time.
No.
Oh, okay.
And,
he
I
was
mean,
related to
an
that.
old man you'd met in Duskin. No, sorry, Duskin. Ukan.
Yeah.
When you first arrived in the middle of the Iron Wall.
and I mean, we don't know what angle that man was playing
We've been led astray by visions before.
exactly.
A lot.
So I mean, I vote we continue east. We can check out the dig site and then discuss going to see Dain's family.
Okay.
I
Okay.
agree.
Over that.
Also, I think you might enjoy these.
Are they the stealing ones?
Ooh,
Nice.
steely ones!
I trusted you!
Yes!
So the party makes their way east
Thank you.
through Blackwater Forest. You, I assume, would without Shiver in the party, it's a bit harder to figure the terrain. You guys occasionally get to parts that are far too thick and bramble to travel through, and instead have to go around. After 4 or 5 hours of travel, you find yourselves seeing the light of day. And as you step forward to the edge of the forest, you find yourself staring south at Bloodmud Fortress.
Is this the fortress
It's the
where
old
we had the little
fortress.
kerfuffle next to the river last time?
Mm.
What kind of state is it in?
It's burnt to the ground.
Are there any orcs around?
No, there's corpses, all corpses.
Okay.
Look.
Yeah. I just got really good at it too.
Can I roll a perception to see if there looks like any other orc stragglers,
Sure can.
any parties that stayed behind, people watching the bridge, etc., etc.? And has the bridge been finished in the meantime?
Yeah, bridge is finished now.
Okay, cool.
Cool. So that is for perception a 21.
Okay. It looks like everyone that was here has been slain, but you do see what is essentially a torso with one arm, orc kind of dragging himself along the ground. And you do notice that the burn marks and stuff, there's still a bit of plumes of smoke. However, you have all travelled east very intently and very purposefully and ended up south.
I have a
Oh.
compass.
Yeah.
Assuming I was consulting that during the journey,
Hmm.
what kind of like did it look like the compass was telling me that we were still going east?
Yeah.
And then we were directed south anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Fuck's sake. Alright.
Should we just pick a direction and walk? We're going to end up with.
Yeah, I mean,
What if the universe seems to have a way of protecting itself? It's lasted this long without us interfering in it. No matter where we go, we end up in a different direction, and no matter who we ask, we don't seem to be getting any further. What if
we just go get drunk? I have a spare 5.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Yeah.
let's just have a beer in the midst of these ruins? Perhaps something will present itself, and if not, we can move on tomorrow and go south, and perhaps end up in the west or the east.
Maybe there's something in the ruins.
Perhaps just something in these ruins that we were drawn to this part in particular.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, back to Shiver and Fletch. Thrummond and Ark was within the castle when it was taken. So the party seemed to be talking about getting through.
Yes,
And
from
finding
events in
Signet.
Arcane and thought that there might be a problem.
Yes,
Does he recognise the smoke as being part of some kind of spell, or is it
that's what I would
white,
assume.
colourful smoke?
It could be a spell. It could be the burning of corpses of men and women. Often very dark rituals can produce interesting effects. I don't know. There is the newly erected Mage's Tower that we built. Significance for the other gnome you travelled with. I don't know what it means.
Are you known to your enemy clearly on the battlefield?
Against Knife?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you were to be captured by 2 of his forces and supposedly returned to his castle,
That'd
would you not
certainly-
be a prize that they would want?
They'd certainly lead me right through the gates to Knife himself.
Perhaps that might be our fastest way if we made it look like we were handing ourselves over.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm not quite entirely sure how we suddenly reveal ourselves. Ta-da! It is I.
Yeah, and what?
The ranged leather armor wearing individual, and here is the gnome.
Yeah,
Sure.
we're not going to have enough power behind us to be able to get out of that situation.
Yep.
Sneaking in, as far as I know, is the only thing we can do. We could take in Thrummond, but we'd have to pass him off to someone else to be able to be free and to be able to sneak away,
Oh, it's maybe too complex.
which is a little too complex. I suggest the back route in, try and sneak our way up. Have we noticed by now any sort of regular routine or anything?
Have you been
gaps in
in the
the
super long
chain of
time?
guards that we can just
You can over the wall. You hear essentially the screams of people forced to submit to Knife. You can hear through the cacophony a couple of words such as "We will not give you our tools" and "We will not help you." We will stand for Thrummond, and essentially the silencing that follows.
When I was up on the ridge today, can I remember how many I saw of Nyath's forces? It was just completely full of Nyath's forces.
At the time, it seemed like all his forces were concentrated in one area. It was maybe 100, 200 of them, maybe more. But you're not sure if that was, if they'd stayed there. But there was certainly a ton at the time.
So, 100 to 200 of them.
Well,
Some giants would take them out. So the other option is go up to
Dustin and contact the giants.
Yeah.
What kind of narrative do you have with these creatures of giants?
We have a contact, a half giant who is now their leader, actually.
Yeah.
So we have some sway.
And the fastest way for us to travel that distance?
Would be presumably to wait till I can shapeshift again, and then I'll ride you all the way up.
Thrummond says, "Now it's a party."
We'll work that way.
Oh, right.
I can provide transportation. Or we start walking. It's either that or we sneak in.
What about your friend,
My friend,
the druid,
the druid.
within the walls? Will he? Is he?
He acts
wild?
as he can. He is usually able to take care of himself. He has this far. I would expect him to be alive and have escaped the town.
Good.
His native habitat is, of course, the forest, not the city. Any problem and he would escape. But how to contact him again, I would have to wait till my message bird arrives.
Right.
How long do you think until your messenger returns?
He should be here soon.
If he is imminent, we could. So I want to find out where those fighting pits are to get my wolf back.
Yeah.
But there's this person also in the tower that needs rescuing.
Is
Either
this
we
the
need to
seer
go
or
now or
is
not.
this someone else?
This is the seer.
This is the seer. The
Sigma.
seer's name is Sigma.
Signia.
Signia. So she's being held prisoner in the tower.
Yep.
Well, that's a very specific place for us to infiltrate. Where's the tower situated within the castle?
So it's fairly central.
Fully central.
When you enter, it's kind of a marketplace, and you've got the great dial, the sundial, that stands as fairly practiced in most castles. Throman's castle itself towers in the centre, and there's the balcony to which he would address his subjects, and within that are loads of rooms and intricacies.
I'm trying to remember whether or not there was a way through into that tower where she lives, or is being kept at the moment, from the secret entrance. Does that connect?
So the secret entrance, if I recall correctly, which I do, leads through the library and into the main chambers.
Okay. So there is a secret entrance around the back, which I've mentioned several times, which does lead through the library and into her chambers.
Oh, that's
so
perfect.
That would work. Let's go do that.
Okay.
Alright, let's head round.
Okay. Both of you, please roll stealth. I'm going to roll my royal die for Throman, who rolls a natural 2. And it's not moving, and then when I drop the dice, a nat 20. So, how you guys doing on stuff?
I roll a 20... for goodness sake.
21.
Sneak.
It's up the top.
Oh, it's up there. There it is. So I got a 21.
Okay. And
Oh,
Fletch?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Oh no, he loses his die.
It may not.
The one chance. That's the last time he get my die.
I've got plenty of dice.
It's by Shiver's foot, just under his chest.
Shiver, could you just grab it for me?
Look, well,
I'll just take it back. Behind you
So,
I got it.
oh dude, okay, 7.
7. Okay, as for the perception of the archers on the tower... Shit, no, I dropped mine. Oh, yeah. So, Throman moving very loudly and such, and Fletch, unfamiliar with the terrain. You guys are seen by the archers on top of the walls. Shiver, however, has taken a route staying low to the ground and moved with such speed that he was able to get right up against the castle walls,
Right.
to where above seemingly he is out of range. The archers are going to turn and loose an arrow. I need you to make a dex save.
24.
All right. Arrows fly from the top of the tower. Throman actually grabs his greatsword, holds it up, and ding, deflects the arrow, and puts it back and starts running. And he just bolts to the side of the wall. Shiver, what are you doing? You're unseen.
I'm going to carry on towards the secret door entrance.
Okay, you make your way around the side of the castle walls to where you remember the entrance, the secret entrance, and essentially spend a little bit of time trying to find the soft spot in the wall. Fletch and Throman make it as well behind you, and you just hear from atop the wall, "Stragglers!" and a booming voice that you recognise as Knife. "Kill them!" And arrows come once more.
Can I cast fog?
Yes.
Do I still have a level of arcane ability?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can I cast fog spell? So it's 15 feet square of fog.
Yeah.
Can I arrange it so it's basically a shielded wall across? So can I set a space?
Yeah.
Higher than us and just kind of shield us across like that?
You
with
sure
fog?
can.
Is that cool?
So as Throman's eyes wild, he's got hands on each of his weapons, his dagger and his greatsword, looking essentially resigned to they're eventually going to find us and hit us. He kind of turns to Fletch, and Fletch's eyes just kind of glaze over, and there's this fog covers his eyes. Your eyes just go completely grey, and Throman kind of looks confused, like, okay, this one has tricks, and the grey fog kind of just starts being pulled like from the air, as if the particles were being combined, like as it was happening, and then it's just this fog, and you see a couple of arrows get loosed, but now they don't know where you are, and just kind of like this through the fog. And someone just nods and follows Shiver, pushes Shiver to the side, and finds the push that opens the small gap in the walls of Black Winter, and you guys all sneak in and close.
Nice.
Alright.
We're in.
So, after all that, I had part of that trace memorized.
Back to you guys.
We can use that for our retreat. That's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you find yourselves looking at Blood Mud Fortress.
What time of day is it?
At the moment, it's the middle of the night.
And there was that orc crawling on the ground
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, bleeding, huge trail of blood behind him.
Hey, orc man! I'm gonna walk over to him. How rough does he look like?
Oh, he's inches from death.
Alright,
My favorite question.
I will go and tend to his wounds, and I will burn a healing spell on him.
Okay.
Pretty cruel at this point.
What's that? Oh, it could be useful to talk to him, I guess.
I remove all 20 things from the vicinity of the orc.
Okay, nice. You know me too well.
Yeah.
So I'll go in. I'll give him some water, and I'll cast. I'll cast Cure Wounds on him.
Alright, cool.
Like 1d8.
Basically, there's no hope of this guy returning to his...
Yeah, this is just more like stabilize him, so we can have a
Yeah,
conversation.
exactly.
That is not a very good roll, but it's like. It's 5 points of cure.
Okay, he sees Arkyan approach and kind of like goes to swing, and as you approach, but as you cast the spell, he just, some of the blood goes back into his body. Thanks.
Orcs.
Ah,
And I
humans.
just walk away.
You're welcome, my son. May Palor's light bless you, as he does all the Earth's creatures.
Okay, sure. Nice.
Yeah. What happened? What happened here?
Oh, it was a Heil. Not so happy to see us moving into his territory.
Why did
Kyle, you said.
Heil.
Why did you build a fortress here?
Essentially, we wanted gold, meats. We thought we could pick off some stragglers along the high roads.
Have you left that you saw? Did anybody get away or hide? Your orcs, you wouldn't have had them.
Most of us are essentially bacon now. I myself was promised the same fate until the preachy one helped.
Okay, most? So there are some orcs in the forest.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
You said the castle was attacked by Heil.
Yes.
It was attacked by Asa not more than 2 or 3 days ago, and you fought off Lord Asa?
Well, we find ourselves in one of the more interesting, integral parts of this war. Their forces come and go, seemingly always trying to maintain their stranglehold on this part.
Looks like they succeeded this time.
You wouldn't be able to give me my arms back at all, would you? Kind of only got the one.
Is there anything of value in this burnt out fortress here? Anything that we might want to know about?
Wars come and go, but tieflings never change.
Mm-hmm.
Loot it, go, fine.
Why was this area so vital for both parties to war over?
That's what I mean. Was there a reason that was there something you were hiding, or was it just?
Well, I mean, there's always a few artifacts here and there within wherever there is trade, but Stormforce and Black Winter remain some of the strongest castles in the cast. Control those, and yeah, could make the tide.
Do you know what's further south of here?
Yes.
What's further south of here?
The petrified forests. Some say the land of the Mer people. Of course, that's just lore, fairy tale. Beyond Stormforce, all kinds of wonderful things. But of course, many aren't that kind to my kind. We tend to stay with our own.
Is it an orc or a half orc?
It's an orc. Full on orc.
Do I know anything about like the orc tradition of magic? Like, do they have
Yeah, roll history. So what do you...
just basically like what I know about like orc culture in terms of like, do they have like people who cast magic and
Right.
etc. Whereas history that is 18.
No, mostly orcs will band together,
Yeah.
take what they need. If they build a place, it's usually not arcane. They usually protect it with traps and tripwires and that kind of thing. So my legs. My legs?
I think you've got a lot of options, to be honest.
True. Personally, I'd like hers, but you know.
I lean down to give him a kiss, smack him in the nut.
Oh yeah.
I go I go towards the fortress because
Sure.
scrum.
Yep. Make some investigation.
What? No, there we go.
I started. Can I help him out with that?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, please do. I got a 12.
Investigation. I got an 8.
Oh, right.
Okay. You do find a black halberd.
Okay, cool.
Just so useful for the magic.
Hey, Dain, look what I have! Woo! Is this something that you use?
Is that the demon one?
No.
No. All right. I'll put it back.
Okay.
I got an even more demonic.
Oh, you got a badass
scary
one. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so like, what? Keep on going.
Yeah, does it look like there's any in the ruins of the castle? Does it look like there's any trapdoors leading?
It's not really a castle, it's a fortress. It wasn't like, it was constructed from wood to be a...
Oh, okay, so it's not stone.
No.
Oh, okay, cool.
It was
It's
like,
more like a temporary kind of.
Yeah,
yeah. Can I ask the orc if he'd like me to ease his passage into the afterlife, and I'll gesture at my mace.
He looks at it, you see him try and process this, and he kind of looks back up and says, "You wouldn't have any ale before I go."
I don't personally, but has anybody got some ale they'd like to spare for a dying orc?
I pull out some black sleep leaf. My monk thing is nice and cruisy for you.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Okay.
More merciful than most. Well met.
I don't have ale, but I believe it's customary to die with a weapon in hand, and I'll give him my dagger.
Thank you.
I move the
Make a
boat
deck
back.
save as he's...
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Save his
Thank
throw.
Okay. Yep, okay. You ease his passing. And he slips.
And as you go to hit him, I put out my ale and I have a sip.
so
that's the last
So gold.
And I go, orcs.
Okay. What are you guys
Or
doing?
maybe I like pouring out for homie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
We're all still pretty healthy and fresh. Yes.
I mean, I could just rest at some point, but I'm not super desperate.
Yeah, I mean, we're like,
I'd rather not rest in a battle, like
Yeah.
a pile of corpses, personally.
I'd rather keep going.
I guess it doesn't matter which direction we shoot, so Gazies will continue going south until we find something.
Is there any point in us looting the battlefield? I'm assuming we've done this as much as we can already.
I mean, there's a few... Yeah, a few like... Okay.
Didn't even finish the sentence.
No, not with an 8. You're not getting anything with an 8.
I can't be the only
I was
one. Come on,
gonna
guys.
give you this, and then
There's
no,
gotta be
no,
some stuff.
Okay, there's a few crude weapons, nothing too exciting.
Cool.
As you guys make your way south,
I thought we were going east.
Don't think it
Well,
matters.
because-
does
well,
it?
we
tried to go
we ended
east,
up
but we
south,
ended
so
up
we're
south
south.
So we're just going to go further south?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
It doesn't matter where we go. We're going to end up.
Okay.
Universe take us where we need to be.
as
Yeah.
you travel south, you find your way. It is dark, so it's difficult to see too far ahead of where you're going. But eventually, you come across after maybe an hour's travel. In the distance, you see a couple of embers and some smoke. And as you get close, you see an orc with just no body, one arm, dragging himself along.
Is it of the same orc?
Weirdest
Yeah.
deja vu ever.
Orcs.
They're into battle this time.
He's leaving a huge trail of blood
Yeah.
as inches from death.
I'm just gonna cough awkwardly.
Okay, back to you guys. So you've made your way inside the walls of Black Winter, and currently you're in the little passageway, which is, you guys know, Throman's secret entrance to and from the castle. Seemingly looking around, Ninth has not penetrated this far, as it's completely empty.
Nice.
I want to lead the way through to.
The tower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say to Sienna's room. She's not Sienna. She's
Signia.
Signia. I'm so good at names. Yeah, I lead the way through to Signia's room.
Cool. So immediately you travel down the pathway, you know. You go through the library. Last time you saw this, essentially Moonskull was burning all the books pertaining to anything useful, arcane, all that kind of stuff. You can see that Throman has tried to rebuild. He's been getting in shipments of books from around Alicia, and he's slowly but surely building his way back to owning one of the most impressive libraries that was around. He did pride himself on that.
Okay, I pause and go, Zook. While
Shiver.
we're here.
Yeah.
Shiver?
Yeah.
Shiver.
Zook timbers. Hence Shiver me timbers.
Ah, gotcha. Shiver. Is there anything we could maybe gain from this library while we're in here? Do you think that they've amassed any valuable information that could help us in our quest? Maybe even to try and help us with the timelines. There might be some historical books here that might help us. That they could at least give us some kind of map as to what has happened.
I think that's a fantastic idea. I also think that this is more pressing, pointing up towards the tower. I think we should get her, come back, and then look, then go.
Right.
That
Yeah,
order?
yes.
Is Throman with him?
Yeah, Throman's looking.
He can just tell you.
Oh,
Thromon's library.
It's
Thromon's
Thromon's library. Okay, well, we'll check in with Throman then. Because look, if we found some core history book, even like a map or something that so far gives us the history of the area,
Yeah.
then as we move through time, chances are the information in the book may well change. If it was a standardised book, like something that we know.
That's true. That's true. Throman, did you bring in any standardized histories of the area and the kingdom?
No histories. Something I've been working on recently. I've heard the words. I don't give them credence, but it's something worth looking into, so that's what I've been doing. Books, great power, hidden here, somewhere in Oakcast. Greatly desired by men, women, mages, the dark forces. I'm trying to find any references I can to these artifacts.
Okay.
Do you have a name?
Do you have anything? Do you have a name, a location, any sort of lead?
It's said to be a book that writes itself.
Book that writes itself.
A book that writes itself. Man, that sounds like a book that goes through time, doesn't it?
Certainly. It sounds adaptable.
I've only found references to it in very old tomes. Trying to track down any real location is proving more difficult.
Oh man.
It appears in tomes hundreds of years old. It appears in stories that I've read recently. I don't know the name of this artifact, but
Would this oracle we're about to rescue possibly know more about it?
I've talked to her many times, trying to get her to scry the location of such a book. She had at one point believed that it was further in the east, but we sent people to find it and found nothing.
What kind of power did this book have that would make it so valuable?
It's said to contain everything. Whoever picks it up becomes part of the stories. The stories are being told for thousands of years.
It's just like a self-referential storybook.
Yes. Apparently those
It's a
that
book that references itself.
Yeah, and changes.
I've
Writes itself.
What happens
heard
if you write in it?
men. Well, I don't know. I haven't been able to track it down. I've heard men that read the book can lose their minds within its pages many times over.
Alright,
The gnome will be reading the book. You know? The man won't be touching it.
let's go get Signia first, because
Right.
the longer
Good
we
call.
talk about this,
Yes.
the
This way.
worse she is.
Throman moves. Let's see how it's like.
Alright, on the way, I
Fuck, he just
asked
can't move quietly.
him about I ask Throman about the Book of Godchildren, Book of the Goddaughter, sorry, and the Book of Artem, whether or not he's got either of them.
The Book of the Goddaughter.
Yes, the Book of the. Do you have a copy of this?
No, I've heard that reference. That's the book. That's the book I'm
That's
looking
the
for.
book. Okay.
It's only
Well,
referenced
snap.
one under that name. It's only referenced once under that name.
Okay.
Hundreds of years ago, there was an account, a mage, he says this as he's like scanning, a mage that was trying to make a list, a reference book, anything powerful that changed the tides of the wars. It was referenced once, the Book of the Goddaughter, but I followed the line, the stories that it took, it vanished. The Book of Artem is possibly old.
And you have no copies of either?
No.
No. Okay, any leads towards either?
Well, there was word of the lands beneath Oakcast. Mages and such were said to have created entire cities that span beneath the rock, very, very deep.
We need to go to Blackreach.
I'm not there, but I told you all. I told you all so many times. You knew that it was there.
Alright, do you have any leads on anything that would lead to these cities beneath the ground?
No, they say there's only one or two entrances hidden somewhere.
Alright. Let's go get Signia. And then, is there anything left of the... What's the Meiji town? What's it called?
The City of Temple?
City of Temples. Is there anything left, or is that thing raised?
Well,
The city temples, yeah.
it was bathed in fire. Most lost their lives. I heard a handful survived. The books themselves most burnt, but as I say, there may
No,
be...
but their scholarship
hold.
might still exist.
Yes.
Okay. And this is all on the way to...
Yeah.
To Signia.
As you guys-
moving. Yeah.
Yeah, basically this is like
how we
hushed.
stealth.
Yeah, that's how we go.
As Throman,
So, that thing! Watch out around the corner, be quiet!
as you make your way through the libraries, which is like arranged in these beautiful circles with like curved bookshelves and such, and Thromin leads you through the quietest path. Essentially, you find yourselves in the throne room, which is where the room where he says Signia is. It is attached to. When you walk in, Thromin looks around and just kind of like makes sure that knife has not touched any of his tapestries or anything, because those cost a fucking lot of money. And
So Knife's pretty much left this area untouched so far.
well, as Thromin motions to a door on the other side of the room, you hear as men are trying to break down the throne room door. We're just going to take a 5-10 minute break so that I can make tea. I need another cup of tea and such. So we will come back with more Black Winter Nights very, very soon after this break. Do we have anything to read out, Dave? No? Okay, cool. So, yes, we're going to be back in like 5-10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, closer to 10 minutes. Thanks for watching Black Winter Nights. And, yeah, we'll be back. Hello, welcome back to Black Winter Nights with my wonderful friends, the Black Winter Nights. Very aptly named channels there. Took us all week to come up with that. Yeah. Thanks to the people that are active in the chat. I believe Maple Syrup is watching. Hello, how's it going? Hello. Welcome. There's some important information for your game in this one, so I hope you're listening.
Your artwork was amazing. Thank you so much.
that was
That's actually sick. Thank you.
That's literally like one of the best presents. When I said that's one of the best presents I've ever gotten, I meant that. It's so damn cool. It made me happy and I cried. So, happy tears. So, thank you guys that are watching at the moment. There's a couple of you. I assume you guys have already subscribed. Wicked. So,
If not, do it now.
what's the delay like? I want to ask the chat a question. Alright, so I'm going to roll a dice. Okay, Shiver. Deciding who to start with. Yourself, Fletch, and from
30 seconds.
30 seconds is the delay. Thank you. It's very helpful. See what I have to deal with? I have a whole cup of tea. I'm happy. So, you guys, you're currently in the throne room.
Why, screw you.
The gates have seemingly somehow someone has locked them to this room, and there are nice people, you assume, pounding on the other side of the doors. What are you guys going to do? Thromin is looking to you.
We head across. What the fuck is Thorman? We head across. We run.
Yep.
Past wall. Past without trace to get back.
Cool.
Doesn't matter if they're in here or not. They won't be able to hear us.
Brilliant.
So Thromin nods. You guys bolt.
Bolt across.
Right. Roll stealth with. Is it advantage with pass with the trace, or is it just plus? Plus 10.
Plus 10.
Wow.
Nice.
That's
He
plus 10
can't
on top of
roll.
Whatever else you've already
So just
got.
add 10 to your stealth roll.
14.
20.
Okay. As these guys kick down the door, just slipping down through the gate, through the hallways. Thromin just is trying to move quietly, and with pass with a trace, he's doing a lot better, even though he's still rolling less than a 5 every time I do that. So, Thromin keeps quick. He kind of takes the front lead for a little bit, finds an unassuming door, opens it, leads you into an unassuming room, pulls back the carpet, opens up the door, a little hatch, and down some spiral staircases into one of the meeting rooms, one of the slightly more secreter, that's not a word, rooms, meeting rooms, where luckily he finds Signia. He runs
inside the town. There's a secret room from inside.
Yeah,
the
this
town.
is in just a standard room,
Yeah.
but through a door in the ground,
Cool.
there's a spiral staircase, and he just runs through, sees her, hugs her, and just went, "I thought you'd be here. You might survive us yet."
Let's go.
Right. You can see that she is like so tired at this point. She's just been scrying and guiding, and she's just barely standing under the weight of all that's been asked of her recently. But Thromin puts her arm around his shoulder as Dwarf as best as he can and carries her out.
Okay, I cast good berries.
Okay.
And generate these berries, so each one of them can sustain you for 24 hours in terms of food.
Nice.
And they each give you 1 hit point as well.
Awesome.
So I can generate 10 of them, I think.
Yep.
So I give 3 of them to her.
Okay, she immediately recognizes them as you summon them from the air. They just kind of pop into existence. And then you just hand them to her, and she smiles. And you see like this warmth flash across her face. And as she eats a few, you can see it's a new experience, and it's just like this burst of flavour down her throat. She just kind of stands now quite happily and takes her own weight and takes her arm from it, and you guys head back up the spiral staircase into the hallway. You can hear men in the throne room.
In the throne room?
Yeah.
Okay. So I pass off vial of stuff.
Pile of stuff.
Pile of stuff.
Man, it's got the stack you've got there now.
Yeah, it's been building up for a while. So that's pass without trace potion on her, so that we have all got pass without trace.
Nice.
And
she pockets the vial, by the way, the empty vial.
alright, the empty vial. So as we get up to the door to check back in, I want to see how much there is in there in terms of like people and how much spaces that are here.
Awesome. Cool. As you hello, welcome. Yes, go and do things. So as you just creep your eyes just beyond the trim of the hallway, you can see Nyath himself stands within the throne room, and he just points like this to either side. And his men start swarming to both hallways on either side of the throne room, one of which is where you guys are currently. They're approaching quick.
Alright, so we could get through. There's no other way out. We have to get back through. We have to get through to the opposite side. Is there
no other way out?
I ask Roman.
Yeah.
Is there any other way out from here?
Can we all move back like a meter?
There is through one of the gardens out the back, but it leads to wolves, and if we can climb, then we can do it.
Can we get? Is there any way to get across that throne room without being seen?
There's one way. He turns and just bolts into the throne room. Raises his sword and just runs right across the room into the other hallway. Nyath just and all the guys amass, and Thromin is now being chased by Nyath and all his men.
Good for him.
Oh my god!
Come on,
You guys
Hey,
can
let's
go, Shiver.
Right, in confusion, head off, sneaking through,
Sweet.
and try to head out the way we came.
Cool. Signia comes with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You make your way. Thromin leads Nyath through a different series of corridors, further into the heart of his castle, and that is where
I
he's
hope he
followed.
hasn't sacrificed himself.
He's the kind of person who would.
Chuck a sack on them both.
We don't talk about that. Not with company.
Bring the stick out. Stick out.
I went through enough trauma the first time.
It's a shame. This is the bird beating.
This is the bird beating.
That we do not speak of.
This is the bird beating we do not speak of.
The event we do not speak of.
Oh my god.
Let's
Alright.
go, Shiver. Let's get out of
So
here.
like the three of us
Yeah.
head off. Is there any opportunity to get Thromin back? Has he like done
You can hear Nyath's calls echo through the halls.
Alright.
Find him, kill him.
Jeez.
Okay. So we get back to the secret entrance out of the way, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I suggest is that you and Signia go down to the library, have a quick flick through.
Okay.
She might know some things about that. They don't know about.
You know the books that
so.
we're looking for.
So I tell them the names of them.
Yep. Got
They
the
should be
Bible.
on those covers.
Okay.
Signia will know about those books.
What
Have
are
a
they called?
The Book of Atem, A-T-E-M, as far as I know. Is that
Yep.
spelled right?
Yep.
And then the Book of the God-Children, apparently. I'm not sure if it's God-Daughter or
It's
God-Children.
goddaughter.
God-Daughter.
Yeah.
Look at the goddaughter. Okay.
Yeah. Those are the two that we're looking for, or anything about those two would also be good.
I'm on it.
Alright, if you two go and look there, what I'll do is... I've got one more of the spider left. I can go and find and sneak after Thromin.
Right.
With the pass without trace, that should be even better.
Right.
And then find out where he is and try and get him back.
Try and get him
Here,
back.
we meet here in the library, and then we can all bolt.
Okay.
You happy with that?
Yep.
Okay.
So if there's any delay, we're going to hide out in the library, yeah?
Stay in the library, and you've also got you forgot the forest if you want that way out. You saw how we came in.
Okay, so we can leave without you, or we need
You
to
can
stay
leave
in the
without. Right, you can leave without us as long as you need to.
Okay.
But you should be safe in the library.
Okay.
Okay.
So
As long as you keep the secret door closed that we're currently whispering behind right
Okay.
now.
So Signia looks to you as you discuss this and kind of just nods and heads into the library with you.
I'm like, are you healthy, my lady? Do you feel okay?
Yeah. I can stand. I think that's all I can do really.
Can you read?
Yes. And you see her eyes just kind of flash as seemingly she just takes another layer across her reality and just kind of scans. This one, grabs a book. This one, hands it to you. She just says, well written, powerful, best ones we have here.
Okay, I appreciate your
Her
recommendation.
eyes kind of dull slightly.
Are you familiar with the Book of Aten?
No.
Or the Book of the Goddaughter?
It's the book of the Goddaughter. I've spoken with Thrommond many times. Powerful. She looks at you. She looks confused. You're not from this time, are you?
How do you know this?
I've seen your path.
Why are there so many people that have seen me before? This is not good news to me. This makes me feel frightened. Have you seen me as well?
Yes, I've seen you in my visions. There is a crack through this reality. You yourself eventually, fall in. Your life here gets thrown back, and a life that never should been becomes one.
One to continue or one to end?
Your life here ends, and a new path, a new story is written, one that should not exist back then. You become a man of no one. You become a man who never was.
And this is a good thing?
This is all part of the event, the ramifications, the echoes of that event.
So I will be cast adrift. I will have no relationship to anything.
You will fall through time. Quick! We have to get out.
Yes.
Paramount importance.
Yes. I take the books that she's given me.
Yeah.
I ask her if there's any other searching that we need to do.
I searched for books that have been soaked with arcane.
Yes.
The ones that I've been guided to. I think these.
Then these feel like the best choice to make. We need to get out of here now.
Okay, follow. She moves at great speed, even though she's walking.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay.
What are you doing, Shiver?
Right, so I want to sneak back into the castle.
Okay.
From that the secret entrance door, make sure it's closed and locked behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Not locked, just closed behind me and not visible. And then I want to sneak in the direction that Thrommond is trying to find where Thrommond is, in order to be able to.
Oh, you
get
can
him
hear
back.
it loudly.
Yeah.
As he shouts and screams. You hear Thrommond's words. You horned fuck! Come and find me! And Niath's words. Kill him now!
I try and take note of Thrommond's voice and how it sounds.
Yeah.
And I start heading off in the direction where I think it is.
Yep.
If any patrols or anything come up near me, I'm going to start using Minor Illusion to copy the voice of Thrommond
Nice.
and throw that around the place, a way to get them to move away from where I am.
Beautiful.
So helping with the sneak component.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay, so whoa. Natural 20 on that sneak.
Oof. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely silently, you move through the castle.
Okay, trying to find Thrommond himself.
Yeah. So, yeah, investigation.
Alright, so
Can you
the
do it twice?
investigation. What is my investigation? Is 19.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you follow the echoes of the sounds, and you locate Thrommond almost immediately. However, Niath has not pinpointed his location, as his men are currently being sent down a couple of hallways. You lock eyes with Thrommond, who's further across, maybe 60 feet, and they're in this open space, essentially a royal courtyard, and he just kind of winks at you.
Yeah, I motion for him to come and get back to the.
Yep, he rushes to your side.
And we
minor
head to
illusion.
rush up. Yep, minor illusioning all over the place, so no one knows where the fuck he actually is.
So at this point, Niath, through this minor illusion, is just pointing a couple of men in each direction that he can, while you and Thrommond kind of just glance him through a small doorway at the end of this hallway, and you guys manage to make your way out. Okay, back to you guys. You find yourselves staring again at an orc at Bloodmud Fortress.
Is it the same one?
Yeah.
Does he have my dagger?
No.
Oh, and he's alive again.
Yeah.
Or it's a different one because we travelled a little bit south.
Yeah.
And it's the same orc again, but not the same one that just died. If you know what I mean.
No, I don't.
Paradoxes and all that.
Okay.
So.
How about this? Because it always ends well. We split the party.
One of us goes back to the game guy,
We all just head off in every direction. It can't fail. We'll see what happens.
Why don't we all just pick a direction and everyone complete them?
Yeah.
At this point,
Time is just someone holding onto two half-dead orcs.
Yeah.
Do we have any more questions for this orc?
We can ask the same and see if it is the same
We
event.
can ask if it's the same, and we could also ask where Lord Hyle's army went after they took the castle. Because he mentioned Blackwinter and Stormforce are pretty much vital to the end of the war.
And how long ago did they take the castle? Because
Yeah,
it could
exactly.
be very close.
Yeah.
While that happens, I'll use my Dwarven Stone Cunning to look for any hidden trapdoors
Okay.
that
Yeah, go for
might be hidden in and around the ruins.
yeah, in the ruins, definitely. Quite a few. Small stores of artillery type stuff, stolen items, and a couple of traps as well. Simple tripwires, that kind of thing. Yeah. Stones, sticks. Yeah.
But they're all
Nothing too
self-contained,
complex.
nothing like opens up.
Right. Well, then. Little help. He kind of points at the trail of blood. Little help.
I'll give him an HP.
Ah. There you go.
What happened to your orc?
Hyle's men. They move quick. Faster than we do. Bastards. You would happen to have any ale?
How long ago did they were quick? How long ago were they here?
No, not an hour ago.
And they went
To the beaches.
to the west.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, we're really close to the place where we arrived, aren't we? Ukan.
Bukan's not far from here.
Can we try that?
For what?
Just go visit. It's in the area. Well, I don't know what else to do with it. We keep on ending up in the same area, so.
Yeah.
Oh, is that within the area, or is it this area?
So, orc.
Yes. Go,
You
Master.
said Lord Hyle's army went to the west.
Yes.
What's in the west?
The beaches.
The what?
The beaches.
The beaches. The
Aye.
beaches of what?
The beaches of Ukas. I heard that they are anticipating some ships from Masa. They want to intercept. Make sure they don't reach land.
That's an idea. We've already met us, so let's go meet Hyle.
Mm.
Balance things.
try and kill them both.
Let's kill him once, and then it will really be balanced.
It'll be satisfying for a little bit.
But this time, we'll loot the entire castle. Then kill him. And then loot it again, because we know where everything is.
There's no stupid ideas. We've all got
It's D&D, they're definitely
Learning
stupid.
from experience.
From the experience we earned from looting.
Who knows, might be able to get to level 4 with it.
Orc.
Gammon.
Orc.
Gammon.
Do you have any other information you think might be useful to a group of people such as ourselves?
Poison
And
is often the
perhaps-
most silent weapon.
Perhaps. And I take a swig from my ale. And I take a swig from my ale. Perhaps. If your tongue was a bit loose, you might be able to swallow some of this.
Okay. You can decide if that's intimidation or persuasion. And roll.
Alright.
It's all about your tone.
Well, that's 7. For persuasion.
Right. Make a dex save.
This is where you die. Oh, that's another.
11?
Mm.
Okay. Alright. The orc, upon seeing your ale, reaches out, grabs a rock and throws it at you. He hits you, and you take a small amount of damage, if I can find a d4. Okay, take 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm pretty sure swords have done less damage than that to me.
He is now crawling towards you at the fastest speed he can muster, dragging himself with him.
I'll take the beer from him and try and be good and
No,
like
no,
give
no,
it
no, no,
to
no.
the orc.
I hold on to my beer, and I slowly start moving back at the exact speed he's walking towards me.
Hang on, I want to see who
He doesn't
maintains the
know.
ale. Strength versus strength. Let's see who can roll it.
That would be Dex when I put it out the way.
Mhm.
Yeah, alright.
Dex versus strength.
Well, I'm using, I guess, athletics to
Yeah.
quickly dive roll in, grab the beer.
Yeah.
The guy knew it.
Some good beer.
So I got 24.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, the ale is now in Dane's position as he quickly just reaches and grabs it from you.
Yep. And I'll give it to the orc. And while I'm going past, I'll whisper to you very acrobatically that I'm doing Righteous Paladin, Trinity Paladin play.
I have no idea what that means.
I am really sick of people stealing my shit
I'm still
in my
you,
own
man.
party.
Yes.
I don't know about
Yes.
that. Can I pickpocket Dain?
Okay, sleight of hand versus possession.
Should we just stand around squabbling for a dying man, really?
The orc has now finished the ale and he throws the empty thing at your feet.
So sleight of hand?
Yeah.
That is a 17.
Yeah, my passive's lower than that.
Okay, yeah.
What you got on you, Dain?
Descent in the ranks. If you start fighting amongst yourselves.
Does he grab some of
Does
my
he-
blood?
Yeah, do you have any alcohol on you?
No, probably just vials of my own blood. Most likely.
I kind of feel like drinking
I find that the orc is now trying to claw his way up your leg to attack you with one arm.
I pull out my
No,
dagger.
I put the booze in that one hand. He hasn't got any
he
others.
finished it and then he
Finished
finished
it.
it.
I pull out my dagger and say, should I find out if he's real or not?
He's like very
No.
feebly hitting you. Like,
That's a walk around.
I just kind of ignore him and just like shake him off a bit to the side.
okay, yeah. He rolls a little bit.
Standard
Why don't I
reaction
just give
for
you
one-armed-bodied
The
orc.
death eye. And I go, that was my last ale.
Yeah, I'll plop the orc back in his seat and
He seems very indignant about the whole thing, but
yeah, I don't have any questions for him.
Yeah.
go on then. You know you want to.
As I said, do you have any more information? And we could be perhaps convinced to, I don't know, not kill you in a very painful way?
Well, as you say, I've seen the armies. Both of them, Arthur and Hyle. My money's on Hyle. He's got less men, but they think a bit more. The strategy's more there. Arthur is all flash and steel.
Cool. Alright, firebolt to his face.
Nice. Yeah, you don't even have to roll. He's on
Okay.
such low hit points as long as it connects. The streak of arcane fire just emulates this guy. His whole body, like half of his body that remains, just is engulfed in fire and smoke, and as it settles, is just a charred skeleton.
Smell like burnt ale.
Oh, yeah.
Like burnt ale.
Yeah, like burnt out.
Fellas, are we done here? Was it
Oh, you're just all flesh and steel. You
I think the value of life drops every day.
He was only a walk. So.
To go to the beach or to Ukan?
Well, they're the same direction. They're both west from here. Well, we'd have to go past Ukan to hit the beach.
Correct.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yep, let's
So
do
we're
that.
following the army.
Okay. So, after an hour or so of travel, you find yourself at Ukan.
We made it! Yay! Is it, what kind of state is it? Is it raised?
Yeah, so it's still pretty broken, but there are people that seemingly have returned once they had fled, and look like they're all packing up and ready to go.
I asked the nearest one.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? I haven't seen you here before.
Trust me, I've been here before.
Speak quickly. I'm not spending much time here.
Who else has been here? There's an army gone past.
Yes, Hyle.
Where did they go?
To the beaches.
And they left you alone?
Well, they didn't see us. We're just gathering our things, then we're getting the hell out of here. He puts his like this pack on.
Where are you heading?
We don't know. East, far east, somewhere away from the war.
If you go through the forest and you meet some Tiger men,
Yeah.
the leader's name is Molina.
Molnir.
Molnir. Just to, you know, it might help.
Tigers. Okay.
They're
Avoid the
lovely.
forest. I hear.
Give them booze.
You know how insane we sound.
I'm a horned woman, alright? Very back to
The tiger's name is Molnir.
Yeah, that does sound a bit crazy. doesn't it?
Yeah.
Horned and horny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it saddens me that the war has addled you such. Horned one. Be safe, and he starts leaving with a couple of members.
Should we keep on following the army?
Yes.
Okay. So after another hour or so of travel, you find yourself at the beaches of Ukan. And there are King Hyle's men in droves preparing for the arrival of ships. You can see that most of them are in ready to strike mode. Hyle himself is walking around and seeing to making sure that they are out of sight long enough to slay any man who gets off the ships and makes contact with solid ground.
Can we see the ships? Like, are
No, not yet.
As we approach,
Yeah.
are any of us still wearing Asa's blue cloaks?
It's a good question.
Because if not, I'm going to take mine off right now.
Yeah, I think some of you still are.
I'm wearing my sexy black one, so.
Mm. Okay, well you make yourself less blue. Yeah.
Other than Heil, are there any other figures that we recall? Any familiar faces?
No, so most of what you would recognise as being commanders or anyone higher up in the ranks seemingly is prepared in ambush position with some of these groups that are further off the beach. Heil himself seems to be working quickly in anticipation for arrival soon. He's just kind of saying to the last, making sure he's kind of looking around and like motioning for people to stand a bit shorter and get a bit back and that kind of thing. After some time, he notices you guys standing there and turns. Travellers. Hello.
I'll approach him and say, well met, and shake his hand.
He looks confused but takes your hand.
We're mercenaries.
Oh! Looking for work.
Yes, looks like there's work to be found here.
Well, if you're able to swing a sword.
Yeah, I'll say not a sword and heft my maul.
He takes it and kind of admires its construction.
Probably a few teeth in there.
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah,
Well, for the glory of Elysia. Blood is coming. I can feel it. And he starts walking towards a small clump of trees on the pretty much on the where the beach becomes land.
I just whisper quietly to Dain, do you recall what happened in this battle?
Roll some history.
Can I roll as well?
You sure can.
Oh boy, that's a 1.
Yeah. 14. Yeah, so the battle of the beaches, essentially after this battle, Heil sets up a permanent outpost of men who later, in about a year or so, use catapults and explosives to take down the ships. But what happens here, as far as you remember, the ships arrive, people get off, they get ambushed, and a whole bunch of people die. But Heil, from the books, makes it out of this alive.
Right.
And Asa is not near the battle. It's just Heil and some of Asa's men.
Alright, that's a shame. Means we can't kill them both at once.
We could persuade him to go meet Asa, and that might be a bit. Anyway.
We could lend our hand and ensure the familiar course of history in this instance.
If it works out that way, every time we've tried to lend a hand so far, we just seem to create cracks in reality.
We can physically be here, so we're doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna keep quiet because I'm a demon woman.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for an opportunity. I haven't got any plans here.
Okay.
I vote we stay here, see what happens. We can either take part in the battle if and when it happens, if we decide to.
We've been announced as mercenaries, so that probably will happen.
Well, they're probably used to us fighting.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we can slip away if the battle does start with, 5 or 6 of us and it's in amongst several hundred people. So.
I'd like to keep an eye on Heil just for the.
Yeah.
If something interesting is going to happen. It'll be
Because you watched him go, you can see where he is now, and essentially he's waiting, sword in hand, just watching the beaches intently. After a small amount of time, you do see ships on the horizon.
But why are we here?
Because we
Why
can't.
have we come to this battle?
Yeah. Shall we ask Heil what the plan is? As we're mercenaries, how can we assist? Where should we be? What's the
Heil's eyes dart to you guys occasionally. He's kind of intimately hoping that you will draw the focus long enough for his men to swarm from either side.
Yeah, so we stay here and be bait.
Okay.
We either get Heil to pay us a reasonably decent sum for our services and we help him out and serve as bait, or we hide out the back and wait for the battle to happen and see if anything exciting happens,
I kind of like that one where we observe and see what occurs.
or we continue going south, which is where we were originally going.
I say, my liege, my mighty lord, do we know what's on the ships?
We're thinking weapons.
Are we waiting for what's on the ships, or are we waiting to just kill some of Asa's men?
We kill, then we investigate.
Okay, cool. So we're not waiting for an object of power.
The ships are getting closer to the shore.
Okay.
I think we should take up a defensive position.
A visible defensive position or a hidden defensive position?
I take up a hidden defensive position.
Okay.
I'll take up a visible one.
I hide as well.
Okay. You guys?
Yeah, I'll hang out with Gadzook.
So a quick trap you want to make?
As far as firebolts are
Just shoot
concerned,
fire.
Yeah.
are they fiery enough to set ships on fire?
Yeah, well,
If I were like, it's 120 feet. So
Yeah.
if I were to aim at the sails and stuff like that.
That's
the,
what I
the,
was
the sails you'd be more likely. It's just a quick flash of fire.
Close there.
So to actually catch anything on
Yeah.
fire is a bit difficult, but you can certainly try.
Anything not
What about
being
scorching
fire?
ray?
Flammable object hit by the spell.
Scorching
ignites.
ray would not
Is
set
it
things on
flammable?
fire.
Yes or no?
66.
Yeah.
Off fire damage.
Oh right, so scorching ray. Sorry, that's shocking grass. Yeah, scorching ray. Yeah, certainly with a high enough roll, some stuff could certainly like if you roll enough damage, it would set fire.
Right.
Some sails.
Raw is that flammable object hit by this spell, being firebolt, ignites.
No, okay, yeah.
If
But
it's
like-
worn or
like-
carried.
Yeah, if it's worn or carried, not full ship.
Yeah, you're talking about a full ship.
Yeah.
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 But-
if
but
it's
you-
not worn or carried, a
Oh,
flammable
okay, cool.
object
Yeah.
ignites.
You could start a small little, and it wouldn't be a big
But like
fire,
it's a bit
It's
of
made of
how
wood.
flammable wood is. Like
Yeah, it
it's,
would
it's
keep
also wood
It's
in
flammable.
salt of water.
As you words thinking of this, the ships hit the land.
Alright, fireball to the sail.
Okay.
I'll do the same.
Okay. So there are 6 or 7 ships. Which ones are you attacking?
One within 120 feet of me.
Okay. Okay. So there is the first one to hit land. Essentially, it's turned. It's released anchors, and you can now see rope ladders coming from the side and men climbing down. You step forward as the attention of the men on the boats kind of turns slightly to the beach, seeing you there, but not perceiving you as much of a threat, considering there's a fleet of them, and only a few of them. They can just continue down. Hyle is just perched.
Oh wait, is all of the army hiding at the moment?
Hyle's one.
Yeah.
We're the bank.
They're ready to ambush once
Ambush.
the guys
We're
come
the
off
bait.
ships.
Well, you're the bait.
Yeah.
I'm still hiding.
Yeah, I'd be
Essentially, they just see 2 people on a beach and
Yeah.
not wearing any colours or anything. They don't perceive you as much of a threat. However, as they start docking and 2 huge streaks of fire just reach out, one of the guys that was climbing off the side of the ship gets like caught in this and falls and tumbles into the water, sploosh. The sails light up. King Hyle just, you can go, yes, you can hear it from behind, but he's still saying there. Now the ships, you can see as it's on fire, people rush to the side of the ships. You can now see like people in the distance, and some of the other ships are getting closer to dock, and you can see now weapons being drawn and arrows being locked.
I essentially want to do a firebolt at every ship that comes within range.
thought we were going to look for clues.
It's easier when there's no people on the ships, right?
While you guys determine that, back to you guys. So you've now made your ways and you've grouped up
Plus burning
At
down
the,
the fleet seems fun.
at the
Does seem
edge.
fun. Yeah, it seems hard to sit for clues through the
You were going
edges.
fast.
At the so you're outside
Sorry,
the
I
wall.
didn't fall in the water with that.
If you're
You'd have
if you're
shipwrecks.
there, you're now
Which are quite well known for treasure, right?
Sorry.
True.
So you've now made your way outside. You're just outside the wall, outside the entrance,
Yep.
Throman's passage. You've got Signia, Throman, and you 2.
Shiver, what do we do? Well, let's get away from the castle first. There are a little underground thing of the place where we found Ms. Black Hood and her white hair.
Ah, right. Nightshade's
yeah.
Nightshade's shadow there.
So think of those places. They're available for us to hide in for now. Let's get away there.
Perfect.
So that means, first of all, a quick dash across. So a check-up for the sentries and anyone passing by, and
Yep.
try to note when there is timing.
Cool.
What time would be best to
So
rush
most of
for
the
most sneaky ability.
most of the archers on the wall are looking out across the roads, the main roads that go to and from Blackwater. So where you are currently on the side, you're outside their main field of
Alright.
vision.
Alright. Let's sneak across.
Do it.
Okay, stealth. We still got paths without a trace, right?
14.
Is paths without a trace still active?
Yes.
Cool. So 23 and 16.
Oh, 34.
Holy crap.
So 33.
Okay. Yes. One Throman does get noticed, and arrows are loosed. That's pretty much all they can do at this point. He's going to make a dex save. And they're going to... Oh, that was close. None of the arrows tag from him. They get very, very close to him as they sink into the ground. But at this point, he's just taken off and he's sprinting.
Yeah.
He's within the forest. Signia, thanks to the berries, is able to move as well at decent speed. And you guys make your way just inside the forest. And essentially, this thing spans so far that these guys won't be able to track you easily at all.
Well, they won't be able to track us.
Because
all
past
anyway,
that
so we'll
trace.
go past that trace. Right, I want to head straight for one of these underground
Sure.
places.
I'm going to say roll history to see if you can remember where it is. How good your memory is.
Technically, it's all like 4 weeks ago.
9.
Okay. So you have trouble trying to locate this thing, but you go to the areas and you kind of figure out when we arrived at, a while ago we came to this part of the forest and you're essentially trying to find it. After a decent amount of time, and Throman's there as well, so is Signia. Ark is still somewhere. After a while, you get to a familiar area. You know the door's around here somewhere. I need investigation. And Fletch can roll as well. Yeah.
Can I roll as well?
Yeah, you sure do.
Oh, 21.
19. Investigation is intelligence, yeah?
And investigation is intelligence, yeah.
Okay, that's 20.
Okay. After a short amount of time, you manage to find, to you, familiar, and to you, you immediately clock it as being elven construction, a small door. And as you quickly rush to it and go to open it, you just hear a soft female voice that just says, "Before you do." And as you turn and look, you now see an elven woman who stands familiar in her domain, seemingly there this entire time. As you look up and clock, Throman draws a greatsword, and Signia takes a step back.
Oh, on Thorman. Oh, on the Thorman. Greetings, fair maiden. This is an odd set of circumstances. Who might you be?
My name is Leodrin. I'm an 8th level druid. Just so you know.
Of which circle?
There's information you don't need to know.
At this
This
point,
information you do not know.
Throman puts his sword away and instead unsheaths the dagger.
How come you to be here, fair lady?
I am looking for one they call Shiver.
Mm-hmm.
I have something of great importance for him.
Him, her, it, there.
No way changes.
Alright. With great caution, and say, I am Shiver. How did you know that I would be here?
I have been observing you with much amusement for some time.
Sure.
He is hilarious.
What is this object and where does it come from?
There's something I've had in my possession. I have been watching the arcane lines and I have seen some disturbances as you move about. When I, out of interest, scribed to see your future, I noticed that there was an object you would need. So I have brought it to you.
My gratitude. What is this object and how is it used for?
Throman's hand starts shaking on his dagger as he points at her. It's a demon woman. I can see it.
Throman, put your weapon away. This woman's going to help us.
She's
You're
gonna
going to
kill
need your
us.
hands to catch this.
But you hope it's not a child's heart.
Well, we kind of do it.
Yeah, I'm hoping it is.
So this
All set of
purple
children's
silk bag sails across and Shiver catches it.
Oh, what?
Pretty.
Thank you. Thank you. Do I recognize it? Do I get anything off it? Can I sense what it's about?
Roll an Arcana.
That would be 11.
As soon as it touches your hand, you just feel this flash, and your form itself just suddenly freezes in place, and you kind of turn and look around. You can see yourself stuck there, and you see that shimmer, and then you see a vision of yourself standing across the other side of this little clearing, and then you come back, and both visions fade, and you're just standing, holding this thing, which is kind of like just glowing and humming slightly. Throman, however, his dagger shaking in his hands, takes a step forward. No, it's one of those. You've encountered them before.
I step between Thromin and is it Linnea?
Legend.
Linnedrin. Yeah, I step between Thromin and Linnedrin. I'm like, no. Thromin.
How can you be sure?
No, there's been too much death today. Let's just hear her out. She's not a threat. Put your weapon away.
How do you know Thromin? You said you've met this kind before. What have you experienced?
You've seen them yourselves. Dark creatures, demons. She just finds us here in this forest. Do you believe that even for a second? She says she watches us, scries on our futures. Why would she do such?
Why would she walk through a random battlefield where there's corpses everywhere?
She could be the reason of these people falling. Could be Nyath himself, you don't know. You don't know his power. You saw him disappear, vanish right in front of us.
Who sent you, Elf?
I do not work for one such as Nyath. It is because of him I have lost my following. I was once the leader of the Blessed Children. You've heard of them?
They have turned quite infamous of late.
Yes.
What is the story of the Blessed Children?
I was leader of them for many years.
Thromin, don't react yet.
His hand is back on his greatsword's hilt.
Then they decided that they would work for Lord Nyath, give him their magic, and I refused to aid him. So there was a great battle, and I was cast out of their filthy company.
When was this battle? How long has this situation been the case?
A long time. What is time?
Malleable, it appears. You know of time magics?
I know many magics.
Would you be able to, on a chance, be able to lead us towards the Book of Artem or the Book of the Goddaughter, which I believe have much to do with time magic?
Let me ask myself this question.
Book of the Goddaughter rings a bell as being part of whispers that you've heard throughout the forest, certainly far and wide beyond Ukast. The knowledge of the Book of Artem was largely considered to be false until recently, when the book surfaced somewhere in the east, and its words, after a long time, have been read once more. This could mean any number of things, but it is believed by yourself that the Book of Artem contains within it an incantation, a very powerful one.
To bring people
All
through
that
time?
stuff.
To bring demons through
I
space.
can tell you no more.
Probably.
Is it safe for us to carry this object?
So,
If it were harmful to carry this object, I don't think she's going to give us a correct answer.
True. Okay. I need to word my questions better.
We need a freaking zone of truth. That's what we need.
unfortunately, Zone of Truth is 100 years away.
Okay. What is the name of this object?
This is the Stone of Teleportation.
Okay. That sounds useful.
It is vital to your future.
You have seen this to be used at a specific time?
I have seen it come in handy.
Okay.
Can be
I like
used-
the vagueness of this elf.
Very enigmatic.
Thank you.
How of service can we? How can we be of service to you? You bring such objects to us, and with mysterious words. How do we connect to what you say, and how do we serve you?
Only by defying Lord Nyath at every turn.
Then we've been on the right track.
At least we've got something to show for it. Okay. We are, as you can see, we are fighting an uphill battle here and are grateful for any ally that we have. We have the four of us. Would you join our cause? Would you help defy Lord Nyath with us?
Unfortunately, good sir, I am just passing through to bring you this vital object. My quest is elsewhere.
Will we possibly see you in a future time, or are you bound here permanently?
Get a number!
I'll be around.
Oh,
it's
so
enigmatic
over.
type.
I'll be
Yeah.
around.
Alright, how do we use this? And what do you know of the Order of the Reoccurring Eye?
So the Order of the Recurring Eye immediately sends a shiver down your spine as you've heard of these so-called arcane users many, many times. Essentially, after recent knowledge of these creatures, say that they've turned rather dark, rather quick, and been consumed by the truth of the words that they have found. Seemingly the Order of the Reoccurring Eye hit a point where their knowledge crescendoed, and they figured something out that changed them forever. That's all you know.
Alright. As to the use of the stone,
She explains the effects written on that card.
Alright.
Is that Order of the Reoccurring Eye?
Yes. That is what she says the stone does.
Tuck the stone away somewhere very secret. Clothing. Somewhere that fate would never be able to find it.
Translation underwear.
At this point, in the forest,
It's the worst place to fade, actually.
Oh, it's a little rocky.
you guys are quite
Best place ever.
you guys are quite far in the forest. Although at this point you can see the sky, and as you discuss this, and Thrommond still is locked eyes on you, no weapon but just untrustworthy, hand on hilt. You guys hear a sound that is impossible, and something that initially your brain say this can't be what I hear. You hear as impossibly large wings beat, and as all your attentions kind of turn slow to the sky, you can see this dark shape just completely obscure the moon. As everyone roll perception.
20.
19.
Cool. Thrommond is confused. What's that? Signia, her eyes widened. And all three of you in unison say, dragon. Right, back to you guys. So, you're on the beach. Currently, men are climbing off ships at great speed. The sails of these ships are now completely on fire.
All of them?
Most of them. The ones on the further edge are a bit out of your range, but there's 2 or 3 ships in the centre of this fleet. The sails are now completely engulfed in flame. You can see Hyle just ready, just waiting. He's just about to give the signal as people come closer from the waters and are now making the way to the beaches. Most of their swords and weapons are trained on the ones who have cast the firebolts. As you're currently just seeing a whole bunch of men walk forward with arrows and other men walk forward with swords. However, as they get anywhere close to range to be able to loose these arrows,
Can I make a perception check to see if they're actually going past us, Mick?
you sure can.
11.
Immediately, as you recognise the intricacies of these armour to be definite replicas or definite symbols of Asa, that's when Hyle moves his hand and gives a signal. At which point you see everyone else that's hidden on the beach, maybe 300 men, just instantly jump from where they are standing and move with great precision and speed, and just take on these guys whose weapons are drawn at you, kind of like, big mistake, you're going to... And then as they see you're just flanked by like 100, 200 guys, and these shadows just coming out of nowhere and start storming. There's just this moment where they're just too confused to do anything, and they just get taken down, hacked into pieces as Kyle's men move with great speed and just wipe them all out in a wave. Pun intended. And as the rest of the guys get off these ships, Kyle's men, once the ones on the beach are slain, all kneel down, and the guys at the back just loose arrows, and most of them strike true into the sides of the ship, and anyone that was standing on the sides of those ships just taken down and falls forward, and there's just the water around these ships turn red. After a while, Hyle just raises his hand with his sword, and his men sheath all their weapons. The battle is over in a flash.
Cool. Is there a ship that obviously looks like a flagship?
No, they all look pretty similar in construction.
So, hail, Hyle, well done! Easily met.
God, I love battle.
Where to now?
I want to climb on... As they're doing this and distracting Lord Hyle,
Okay,
I want to climb into the first ship I set on fire
sure.
and start looking around underneath.
Okay, make some just athletics to get up the side of the ship. Okay. Unfortunately, you're scorching.
That's a 7. But there's rope ladders, right?
Yeah, there's rope ladders that are kind of quite badly burnt. You're trying, but you can't quite get up the side.
I'm teleporting one that's not on fire.
Well, I couldn't have done that without you. Thank you. It's fun.
This was an easy battle, easily done. We'd like to do more. Where are we heading?
To the ships. And he starts walking forward. With Hyle's help, he sees you and assumes you're trying to loot. He doesn't give too much credence to that. He starts his men with small bits of climbing equipment, just digging into the wood on the side and kind of just making their way up the ships. Pretty quickly they swarm aboard the 6 and 7 ships and start searching through below decks and everything that was being carried on those ships. And Hyle just stands waiting.
Was there anything specific you were looking for, Lord Hyle?
No, said this was going to be Asa's equipment station for his next attack. He's going to try and take Stormforce. They said his men were going to come here, pick up the weapons, and...
Asa already controls Stormforce.
Not anymore.
So that's where you went after...
Jeez, things move fast around here.
It's the nature of war.
So are you heading south, north, east after this?
Heading north.
Back to
Blackwinter.
Obviously I couldn't discuss such tactics with ones I've met on a beach.
Who holds Blackwinter right now? I seem to be losing track of these things rather quickly.
It says that Asa still stands within those walls. Not for long.
So
it seems you guys...
you took Stormforce while Asa was there?
No. Asa himself was...
already conquering Blackwinter?
Yeah, lured. His eye shifted quickly and we moved. Even faster.
So you've just traded castles?
Trying to hold it this time.
We know... I'm sure you know Blackwinter well as well. It's like we know it very in depth.
I don't.
Okay.
So I guess the question is, you fought for me here, but who do you fight for?
Never been
My liege, we're travellers. Our story is long and complicated, but do you know the name Zook? Perchance?
I step around and hide behind Dain.
It's a fairly common name.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. We have been travelling with some skilled individuals. To be honest, we want this war to end as fast as we can. And from what we'd heard from the Druids of the forest, and the Tiger Men of the other forest,
Stargazers,
and the Druids in the other forest.
that one,
The other forest.
you seem to be the favourite at the moment, and a smart person always backs the winning king.
He smiles and stands at full height.
Taking Blackwinter is a proposition. How do you intend on doing this? You clearly have a force.
Our force moves faster than ours, although his numbers might outnumber ours. The war itself is coming to an end. I can feel it. The last battle will be soon. His swords shall fall, and we will be there to pick them up. And a new age, an age of Hyle, will ring across Elysia. My glory will go down in the books
And
forever.
we know that the next battle isn't for another 2 or 3 years, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I was going to say, just
More
that,
like 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, the final battle.
just that simply.
Yes.
What information do you have on Asa's movements at the moment?
I really can't distress strategy.
I feel like we need to have a...
I feel like we might not.
You reckon?
I feel we've had these conversations with so many people already.
I want to move things
Yeah.
forward.
Did I find anything in the ship that I was checking out?
Yes. Lots of investigation.
6.
You find a lot of better crafted weapons than what you're currently carrying. A few masterwork swords.
Take one for myself, I guess.
Sure. So that's +1 weapon.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you mind if we tag along for a while? Just to... How?
Can always use more swords, more bows. The next fight is not far from here. You ready?
Always. Honoured to be so.
Good. As soon as my men return from the ships, we strike.
Where
What
we
know you of Asa's forces?
We know they were in Stormforce until recently ago, and that's the last time we saw them.
We drove him out. But this time, he had others with him. Dark ones. Ones from the other side. We've located what we believe to be their leader.
How long ago did you drive Lord Asa out of Stormforce?
Not long.
Like a day? 2?
Less.
5? 10?
Less.
Today,
Yeah.
essentially.
His men were just as surprised as I was to find you here. And fell a lot faster.
Interesting. So, seems like Lord Asa achieved what he was trying to do in the last 2 or 3 days.
I was going to say the Dark Ones. Can you describe them to us? We know he was reaching out to certain powers, but I didn't realise he had got that far yet.
Seems like his numbers grew quickly.
Okay, so he's reached that point.
You speak strange words.
It is of no import at the moment.
What is important is how you plan to respond.
With blood.
And darkness.
Maybe. Hopefully. I just hope I get to see some action. Anyway, you've proved yourself useful. You're...
As we already stated, we are mercenaries. I believe some form of payment is in order for setting these ships on fire for you.
I believe you'd be right. And I have no sort of shortage of gold. Is that what you require?
I nod vigorously.
He reaches into his pocket, into his robes, and beneath his armours, and scatters a handful of platinum.
Where are you
I'm
going
just
to
going to leave it drop on
I
the
dive
floor.
on the ground.
I'm just going to let it drop around. And I myself would be more interested in knowledge.
Chuck a bunch of knives in there to throw some musclework weapons into the monster.
I myself would be more interested in arcane knowledge.
Well, it's certainly companies that I keep. Can't win a war without arcane.
Like, are we speaking of like a court wizard or mage or whatever?
Some of my men have been trained to, let's say, lift their attack. Power of fire is one I take great pride in teaching.
There would be none who would be experts on powerful magical artifacts or items.
Things to do with time.
Things to do with a lot of magic things. And I glow my eye at him.
Okay. He kind of freaks out a little bit and takes a step backwards. Not just mercenaries, are you?
We all have our things to do.
You just paid us as I put how many platinum away?
You get managed to pick up about 5 platinum. It's a lot of money.
Holy crap!
Wait, are we doing
How much have you got?
Yeah, so our platinum is 100 gold.
Oh shit, man, I should have picked some of that up.
You're too proud, man.
And they've
Well,
got
I see payment for our friend here is out of the way. Now, what about the rest of us?
You cheeky shit.
Can I assist him by nodding vigorously?
help me with this next fight. And I'll triple what I paid him.
As I said, I myself am only interested in knowledge.
Right. Well, I keep my ear to the ground. It pays off in more ways than you might think. What do you need?
As I said, I want to speak to someone you know is an expert in artifacts and magical items.
Can do.
Done.
Okay, back to you guys in the forest. Throman, still unconvinced of your new friend and the gifts that she has bestowed upon you. Signia has resigned herself to the shadow and is kind of watching the news.
What does it taste like?
Fair maiden, while my gnome friend tastes your object, how would you suggest that we use such a thing to assist us?
The use of the stone
The use of the stone.
is.
She says that in her visions, she's seen you guys many times.
Mm-hmm.
She's seen what follows you.
Mm-hmm.
She's seen what actions you take and how they echo through what will become the histories.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, at a crucial moment,
Mm-hmm.
you'll need this,
Okay.
and it will be clear.
It will be clear.
Mm-hmm.
It will be clear.
Okay, trusting you here.
To be fair, we are in the middle of a war zone. Literally, we've just run out.
The shadow that has just passed the moon has now disappeared,
Okay.
and the sound of the wings has faded.
Wait,
You can
yeah, I was
understand
gonna
our hesitancy here. This has come out of nowhere. You say you're with the Blessed Children.
The leader of the Blessed Children.
May I say ex-leader of the Blessed Children?
say- Oh, burn.
Um, just pointing out the situation.
You want
Okay.
to keep that rock, right?
I would like Everton to know who you are. I would love to know where this is coming from. What is it that you have seen? What is the situation? So far we have a rock and no guidance. Not particularly helpful, I'm sorry.
If I reveal too much to you, this will interfere with the path that you must take.
This has happened before. She's got a point, right? If we know too much, that can cause some problems. Like the fact that I'm falling through time.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any reference in the future or past histories of the man who falls through time?
I will. Consent.
So there is. You know this, but I don't know if you know this. Would you wish to tell him if you knew this? It's up to you.
I am a rather enigmatic person. Perhaps you can think of a way to get out of me.
Good say. She's a druid, we know it works.
Yeah. I've been a man of the forest and want to serve its interests. This battle must be causing scars to all of us. I'm sure you have your own. The people that I now, the company that I now keep, are people of power and people of knowledge, and perhaps there needs to be an exchange. If there is future information that you seek, then perhaps there is some service, or at least assistance that could be carried out. What is it that you require? And here are your questions, elf. What is it? What is it that you require, right? And what do you want us to do?
What was your motivation? Why save us?
That.
Why does this benefit you?
My greatest enemy is that creature you call Lord Naya. He has destroyed my entire life. And I seek vengeance, just vengeance. I am deeply immersed in the mysteries of this life. I hold great power. I have watched with interest your amusing adventures. And I seek only to assist, to aid you in your quest.
I'm inside in this hard.
Okay, what's your bonus?
+4, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
No, +2.
And Fletch, what's your bonus?
My insight bonus is insight is wisdom, yeah.
Yep.
+2.
So, Fletch, you have no bearing on whether this person is telling the truth or not.
Okay.
You cannot.
I can't even make a roll.
No, I roll insight.
Oh,
so
right,
yes,
cool,
don't know.
yeah, of course.
It's very enigmatic. You noticed when she was talking, when she got to a point where she was speaking with passion, when she said, my enemy, the one you called Lord Nyath, you could see that the ends of her hair singe a little bit, and a small wreath of fire in each iris, just as she says that. And as she says, I've watched you, you're amusing, her face goes into a smile, and you can see like this shimmer of moonlight that wasn't really there kind of travel through her hair as well.
Okay. Well, if your goals then align with ours, obviously, since we've asked about it, you're not able to join us in our immediate endeavours. However, there will be required a substantial force to bring down Nyath and his empire. Would you be able to see who would be able to join us in that endeavour? You seem to have fingers and eyes following people.
My fingers and eyes are full.
Pies.
She tells you of.
You must be able to see more of what is going on with the larger scale than we can. Maybe you would know people who would be able to help.
She speaks of a place you remember vividly, Nyath's Castle.
Mm.
And she speaks of when you stood in front of him and the orb was activated.
Mm.
She speaks of the smoke
Mm-hmm.
and what would happen if the black had have seeped through.
Okay, what would have happened if the black would have seeped through?
She says that because you and the party you keep had not, if that had happened, been there to stop Knife, his grip would have consumed all of Alicia. And the only way to stop him where you find yourself now is to be with them once more.
Right.
Is to be with who once more?
The rest
The-
of the party.
The rest of the party. We need to be unified again.
I need
Yeah.
to get back in time apparently before I can be here.
The
Okay.
Awesome.
party needs to be complete.
Can this stone assist us in our movement through time?
As you ask that question, there's a moment where Signia points and you all make a dex save as quick as you possibly can.
3.
As you hear
9.
two claws, you notice the dragon that had flown overhead has found its way into the forest, and as it steps into this clearing,
Try and usher people down into the
Oh.
into the
this
underground layer.
torrent of fire consumes your new friend. Where
Oh,
she
that's not
once
funny.
was,
Well, she was kind of hot, so
Scorch
I guess
marks.
it's-
burnt ground, and a dragon.
You can say something in the game if you want.
Whoa!
small
Down, 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 down. Sorry, I usher people down into the underground.
Okay.
thing
Everyone
at the top.
make straight athletics.
10.
18 plus 2, yeah, 20.
Okay. Just on the tail end of the fire that chases you down, you take 10 points of fire damage, just as the last bit of breath just touches you as you disappear underneath this thing.
So the elf is completely
Consumed.
Okay.
However, there is, as you close this trap door over you, there is no marking, there is no body, there is no blood, nothing like that. Where she was standing, there's simply nothing.
She's vanished.
Wreath in fire, she was gone.
Alright. Oh, she's going to teleported herself somewhere.
Freaky elf.
Had to be else.
Okay, what do we do now? There's a freaking dragon on top of us.
Okay. Well,
You can hear the claws as it
Did I-
approaches where you just disappeared through.
is it searching for us? Does it?
Yeah,
Did it see us?
seemingly. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
So what we could do is sit tight till it goes away.
There was the other entrance.
Whoa, what?
There was the other entrance. Is this one of the ones that had the... That is... I try and work my way through and see if
Yeah.
the other entrance is open.
You remember, you even find some of the goblin skeletons from when you swept through it the first time.
So we're in some kind of catacombs that you've been in before?
Yeah, a little one.
Okay.
We got a really fancy amulet that...
You're in your magic items, man.
well... This is where I got Captain, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got this fancy magical amulet that possessed one of our party members. Woo. And I got a wolf, and that was pretty good. Right, so... My memory is that the other end of the thing doesn't come out that far away.
Mhm.
So, it's not going to be so far away from the dragon that it's out of danger. So either we stay here, and it's probably not going to be able to get inside here to us, or we make a run for it, and it presumably shouldn't be able to find us.
That dragon seemed like... What colour dragon was it? Did you see?
Red.
It was red.
Mhm.
That dragon seemed to be specifically hunting that elf.
Yeah.
Like, that blast of that flame would have fried all of us.
Mm-hmm.
That was specifically made
Aimed
for
at
that elf.
her. Yeah.
So, she just managed to get us the teleportation stone,
Mm.
and then a freaking dragon turns up and fries her. So there's some kind of force working against us having the stone.
Yeah.
Like, we need to get out of this time zone too. 'Cause this is
This is just
Yeah.
getting
it's a red
nuts.
dragon. Did she say something about the smoke, the arcane smoke, that was a signal that Naya was doing something that we needed to be part of?
I don't think she mentioned that at all.
When she said there was some kind of smoke, arcane smoke, and when we saw the smoke it would be... There'll be some kind of threat.
She was describing the situation that we had when we got sent back in time.
Okay.
Craplet of Smoke got released, and it was between the black and the white, and the white one.
My confusion.
But so what would have happened if the black smoke hit us?
That's
If
all
we
the
landed in
information
that
we have.
I assume
No,
that,
you said that she explained what would have happened.
Yes, Naya takes over the world.
yeah,
If that has happened, you
Right,
wouldn't,
okay,
you wouldn't be
okay,
there
okay.
to stop them.
Right.
we would have
Okay.
gone for
Is there any
Man, I'm happy you rolled an even number then.
Yeah.
Because we would be screwed otherwise.
yes,
I
because we're doing
most
so
of
well.
reality.
Where do we need to be? Shiver. I'm so confused and terrified. And now I'm...
You're not
I'm-
the only one.
Yeah,
Okay, at the moment we've got a red dragon on top of us.
yes.
This is
Okay, we've got a
You can
teleportation
hear its
stone.
claws.
which we can only use once, and we
We
were
don't
told
even know how to activate it.
yeah, and we were told that it's only we're going to know when this is.
Well,
gonna
this is
be.
a good time. I know when is a good time. This is...
Yes, but there's nothing that says this stone must be the one thing
Right,
that you
right.
use.
Alright.
And also, it's for 6 people, and there's only 2 of us, so I suspect this has been made for a specific purpose.
Do you really
I-
have to fill the cards, drive it?
I would prefer to save this.
Okay.
Okay, back to you guys. Heil, at this point, has promised you more platinum and information if you help him in the next step, which he says is a battle that's not far from here. He says, there is no time. You either follow me now and fight with me, or we part ways and I never see you again.
Still look like a professional.
His name is King Heil, please don't...
Click my heels and do that thing.
One of these.
That's what
Is that a salute of yes, we'll follow him, or a salute of see you later?
Or
yes, sir.
Yeah. See you, Heil.
To his face, I'm going to tell him that, yeah, sweet, we're in. I'm down.
So you guys do know that, some of you do know, that historically, Asa should only be making pact with demons a few months from now.
Yeah.
So intrigued, I assume
Well,
that's why you're following.
That's what I was hitting you up about, because,
Yeah.
the
So-
darkness and the excavation and shit.
Hey, Gorstag. Yo, you're a cleric, right?
Yes.
Yeah. To the almighty Palor, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, yes.
May his light keep us forever in outer darkness, I guess.
I'm glad I've been such a good influence on you.
Yeah. Totally. Elves love Palor. Do you think he might have some extra knowledge on stuff?
I will attempt to consult with him.
Or perhaps
Probably.
perhaps he could give us some information on the darkness that's into the world or something.
Yep, cool. I will. It's an 18.
Cool. Gorstag falls himself into his Palor prayer position, which is one of the more comfortable poses. It's like downward facing dog. And essentially,
Totally
That does
comfortable.
not look up.
essentially you open your minds up to the possibilities, and you don't say to Palor, "Hey, I need your help." You request, is now a time for your light? And as your mind kind of, it's those vistas of awareness, as each one of the small doors in your mind open one by one, and the channels of your soul kind of open up as well. You wait for a second, and you get this sense of small light particles just traveling softly through these doorways, and as they cling together like dust in the wind, they build to a beam, and as you open your eyes, you see that wreath of gold that you recognize as being Palor's light. And you see it flash in Heil's eyes, and as it comes past, it leads further up a winding path closer into one of the thickets of essentially a stone structure along the wall, which is an abandoned, not quite castle, but old fortress. And you can see that intently glowing with Palor's light, and then like smoke, it vanishes, and your awareness is returned.
I have been granted a vision, and I'll indicate to that because it's just a fortress we can see from the page where we are.
Just old stone ruins, and essentially that's where Heil is intending.
That's the reason to
So
go
that's-
into next.
That's what you see.
Palor bids us to follow Heil for now.
It's definitely Palor this time, right?
Well,
For sure.
For sure.
100%. Okay.
Isn't he the one that led us to that amorphous demon thing that tried to that did possess half of us?
Yeah, but that wasn't actually Kano at the end. So
No, but he totally led us
more
there.
recently.
Oh, okay.
Like
I
last
missed that.
session.
Alright.
Last thing, we followed his light to that, and
I was feeling a bit absent last session.
yeah. and then we found your other dead body, your brother.
Yeah, it wasn't a net loss. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anyone would expect a path of God sets you on to always be easy, right? But we successfully passed that trial.
Speak the truth, God.
He's got you there.
Yeah. All right, I'll trust you.
It all works in mysterious ways. Don't question
If you say we should go this way, I will go this way.
Hey, can be a bit of a
Can I make a history check on the castle he's talking about?
Yeah, sure.
40.
So essentially, it's just old stone structures that once were there, disused.
We have no idea like
Nothing
who
to
used to
important.
live there. Or
No.
Do I know about the stones?
it's not like
I want to try
the ruins of the Witch King of Angmar or something like that.
16. Do I know about the stones?
Cool. Okay. So yes, you do know. Yeah. So you do know this place as being one that it's not fabled, but certainly growing up there were stories that would keep you away from it. A dark witch.
King.
Awesome. That sounds like fun.
Of Angmar.
I don't know how you did that. You pretty much nailed it.
Oh, really? Sick. Awesome. Alright. Cool. Well, let's go burn some witches. Or perhaps
Zook,
talk to them and not burn them.
Does this place have a name? Do you know? This pile of stones?
The world of the broken shore.
The world of the broken shore.
It's a beautiful name for a tiny pile of stones. I'm very impressed.
No, it's not small. It's
Yeah.
It's a large pile of broken stones.
it's okay. So it's
It's like the Giant's Causeway or something.
not like I don't want to say ruins because that kind of builds it up too much. But essentially, it was not castle, but not village. It's hard to explain. It was once quite a grand structure
Yeah.
that throughout the ages has diminished and crumbled a little bit, but it's still noteworthy inside.
Still shelter inside of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
But essentially, you guys just remember growing up the stories of people vanishing and the wicked laughter that would echo if the clock strikes if the moon hits midnight. There's the echoes of laughter that can drive one insane.
I gasp dramatically and ask, Carl, do you know the stories of this place?
But again, these were just stories you were told us.
Yeah.
And is this Asa is actually attacking this castle, or is this just kind of on the way?
Asa, his men, one of...
Oh no, sorry. Are you Lord Hyle? Are you attacking this castle, or are you just going past it?
I'm trying to intercept the Dark One. He moves behind Asa. He's
Dark
sweeping... yes.
Who is the Dark One?
He's said to hold great power, working with Asa. Reconnaissance has led me to believe that I must quell this fire quickly, or it'll burn.
Who is this person who wields this power?
He walks with a faceless shadow. He walks with a face of flux. Never quite solid, they say.
When
Terrible eyes.
did stories about him begin? When did he appear?
They said that Asa has brought him from far, further than any of us have tread.
Within the last few days?
I've heard stories. He landed weeks ago, further north. And everywhere he steps, my men fall. One who managed to survive, as the rest of his men burnt to crisps, spoke of this creature, the eyes of which were a madman. But the look on his face when he described this man, I'd never seen such horror.
Was it a human?
And they say his face grins sickly. He comes close to you, and you forget who you are.
Interesting.
Everywhere he walk, my men fall. But
You and
the thrill of battle calls. Will you join me?
Absolutely.
sure.
He draws his weapon and he starts walking directly into the heart of this stone structure.
Go with him.
Okay. Everyone that's there, please roll perception.
But once again, Lord Hyle, sir,
Look, 20.
are you seeking to conquer this fortress at the moment, or
I just need this one dead.
the witch?
And then my platinum shall be yours.
7.
Okay.
15.
Okay, Gorstag. With the light of Palor within you, you see that Hyle is heading directly into the heart of this place, which is really the only place in this area where a building still stands. So he initially assumes that's where he's supposed to go, and he leads the way there. As you walk, however, there's this shimmer just beyond your peripheral vision, the light of Palor, which as you turn, you just realise that he's walking into a trap. You turn back quickly as Hyle kicks down this wooden door to a small area, and you just see a couple of shifts of cloaks as these two further up the sides silently move after him. Before you can say anything or reach out or touch base, I don't know. You instead get met with this dread. I need you to make a wisdom save.
That is a natural 20.
Oh, okay. This flood, this like dark ocean crashes behind you and drenches you in this just paralyzing fear, as you hear, fairly certainly in your own mind, just this cackle, like logs on a fire, but way more intense. It kind of just echoes through your mind. Just horrible and dark, and for a second you just freeze, and it's your heart kind of beats through your chest, but freezes at the same time as there's just this horrible dread sets in. But you're walking beside the light of Palor, and the light of Palor is absolute, and you know it will shield you and guide you and protect you in this moment. And as the light travels through you, you suddenly just cast that fear. But as you turn, you see this face just coming out of the darkness, horribly rotted. The teeth you can see right up the side of the skull, and it's just gushing forth with blood and maggots as it just kind of throws up this horrible dark sludge as it gets a bit closer to you. You guys all see this, and next week you'll all be rolling initiative. But that's where we're going to leave for tonight. So, the party still remains 100 years on either side of the world. The dragon has been seen in the present for the first time by anyone in the party, in this party. The rest of the party have essentially walked into the Witch King's lair.
Well, was he legitimately like, right?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
But is it actually like a witch king and everything, or is it just a witch?
Well, I mean, you somehow just went, oh, this is where there's a person. I don't know how you did that, but very terrifying.
Foresight.
Yeah.
9th level spell. Trouble.
More powerful than ever.
So, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Holy crab muffin. Thank you so much for Game Ature. Can we all just clap for this guy? Woo! He has donated $10 to
Alex, sincere clap.
Okay, we've got a note from him. That's it, or her. I'm not sure. Best of luck to the stream. Get that cam, thank you. And I hope our channel can be successful and tell some great stories. Yes, thank you. Great cast, great adventure. Keep it up. Here's play some music to set the mood. Yes, so the music is a tricky thing because we have to find music that doesn't have royalties or anything like that. I do have a guitar, so I can just bust out.
We need a full-time bard in the party who just
Yeah.
sits here and jams for the whole game.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd like to give a special thanks to our guest players, Ben, aka Fletch, and my sister, the elven leader of the Blessed Children. Thank you guys very much for making that game just a little bit more special. Of course, this game, if you missed any of it, will be up on the YouTube channel, D20 Multiverse, within the next 4 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and in 3 days we are live streaming our other game, which takes place on the same continent, Ucast, in the world Elysia. That's called Eyes of Elysia. And in fact, our very own Arkyan you've probably seen him playing that game because he is Isgrim from there as well.
Is it the same dragon?
It is.
It is.
Yes.
Oh, the one that burned down the city.
Stefan doesn't know that.
Stefan.
Yeah, but
Stefan has no
Dave
idea.
does.
Yes.
Same
because-
dragon.
See, that's what was getting so hard for me. Like,
Yeah, because you knew
yeah,
exactly
I
what
know
it was.
too
Yeah,
much.
you know
It's, like,
exactly
real
what
hard,
I
like, differentiating.
And the other players from the Sunday game were in chat
Yeah,
saying,
so-
was it our dragon?
Yeah. Yes, for the Sunday players that were watching, it is the same dragon. Because, for a dragon,
What do you think of this?
the east coast and the west coast of Elysia are not that far. It can fly,
Fucking dragons, yeah.
But thank you guys for making some interesting progress. I would like a quick announcement for the players that have played here tonight. You made some great decisions. You fought bravely. And you have reached level 4.
Yay!
So, next week we will, at the beginning of the stream, when we live stream, roll your new hit points. Please take a look and see, because I'm sure a lot of you will be getting new spell slots and stuff, so take a read through the books and try and decide on, your evolution, Dig-evolution. Thank you guys so much. Game Mature, you're an absolute legend. Thank you for the donation towards the battle cam.
He has his own D&D channel too.
You have your own D&D channel. That's fantastic. Well, can we plug that?
You just did.
I did. All right. Thank you. Game Mature. So go check out. Hey, if you're watching this and you're like, hey, I need more D&D, go over to Game Mature's channel and check out him because yes, D&D is the best thing in the world, and we know this because we're the best people in the world. So thank you guys very, very much.
DM's logic.
Yeah.
We have no egos here.
Ego! Yes, I am consumed by ego. It's the greatest force in the universe. So, thank you guys very much for watching and for your lovely donations. And we love you guys, so thanks very much. And check out Eyes of Elysia in a couple of days on the same channel. And then we'll all be back, most of us at least, next week to see what happens with the terrifying cackling dude and the dragon. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much. Good night. Good night. Good night.
See ya.
Good night.